Um, what up, YouTube? What up? What up, YouTube? What up, YouTube? This is No Filter right here. Episode 4 of Creators Block, and in today's episode, we will be discussing source material. We did kind of a short, brief discussion on it. On one So what up, YouTube? This is No Filter right here. Episode 4 of Creators Block. Fucking, I hate when that shit does that bullshit. Man, I gotta fucking find how to edit this shit. But yeah, this is No Filter, man. This is episode 4. This is I should name it episode. I should name this episode, man. Yeah, this is episode 4 of Creators Block, and in today's episode we will be discussing source material and why it's so important. You know, when you are basically when you're making a movie or anything, but this is basically comic book related. So it's gonna be mostly comic book related, comic books, the way the industry are, the way the industry does treat characters nowadays. So really, I'm gonna go very in depth with discussion with this a little bit. I'm waiting on but before I can, but before I can get this conversation, this discussion going, I want to really want to what you call it. I really want to shit. I'm waiting on Johnny and I'm waiting on Johnny and Armchair from Johnny and Armchair so I can, and Stewart and Louise and other guys to join into discussion so we can get this thing going. Um, what up, Johnny?
Hey, what's going on, man? Good to be here.
I told you I was gonna do it around 3:30, and I got here just in time. I was scared I was gonna run a little late though. So
No, that's all right. That's fine. Actually, it's 2 where I am, so I'm good.
yeah, so I thought I was gonna be a little. I thought I was gonna be a little late, and I was like, I was at the bus stop. I was like, fuck, man. I hope I'm not late. Like I got here just in time though.
Well, yeah, no, I thought that. Am I getting an echo?
I think so. Yeah, but yeah.
Well,
So what you been up to?
not a whole lot today. I got the day off, so I'm pretty good. But yeah, I think the echo's gone, so that's good. Yeah, so we were talking about source material.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, today's topic is really gonna be very in depth with it. I can go more in depth with it now because that was kind of like a pre-discussion of it, like
Right.
Just want to continue where we come from. We know Armchair. I'm trying to see a Stewart. I'm trying to see a Stewart because I know Stewart. He's a creator as well, so I'm trying to get Stewart on here.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to him about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's not good for Marvel or DC, that's for sure. But that's where when we talk about the source material, we're not just talking about the type of material that a movie gets from comic books. We're also talking about where does the creator get his source material from in the first place to make the comic.
Yeah. I mean, and that was this series. That was this episode is about. I should name episode 4, but I was like, I just edited episode 4, but yeah. But I think this episode is very pivotal to this series because it's called Creators Block. So source material to me is so pivotal, and I think it's so important that
it is.
It is very important. It's very important that you know the source material. And the reason why I'm bringing this discussion up because I'm gonna mention 2 things I did yesterday: Batman being the meta-human, and then Punisher being the War Machine, and Marvel and they such just word content and the comic book industry. People are not buying the comic books, and the reason why I think it's not just about this. It's not just going towards the creators' content, but like the comic book industry and why the more they struggle for the source material, the more the consumer gets upset because like they ain't getting the product they're supposed to be getting in the movies. Where we get the characters how they're supposed to be in the movies, but we ain't getting it in the comic books. When I said like I said before, not going more in depth with it. And basically the reason why I want to have this in-depth discussion is because I look at the comic book industry, Marvel, where they social justice push to keep going with the comic books. And I look at DC, and that even though DC is doing pretty good with their comic books, they going off the rails a little bit, and they're trying to save the industry. You got writers saying their political views on stuff, and I have no problem with writers being political. I mean, we always had politics in comic books, but nowadays it's more relevant to today's times because nowadays writers feel like, well, I got an agenda to push, so I'm just gonna push it. And what you're doing is you're going to get the source material. It's like I use this as a prime example with source material, why it's so important that we embrace the source material. It's one, let's take Iron Man as a prime example. Iron Man right now in the MCU is probably one of the biggest characters out there. In Marvel, and I would think with Marvel having a flagship character like Iron Man and Captain America that you would do it. Yet still they make Iron Man a 15-year-old black girl and they got a Squirrel Girl and all these characters that nobody really cares about. Like all this first diversity character for diversity's sake makes no sense because what you're doing is you shit on source material. Look, I love Miles Morales. I think Morales is a dope character because he felt organically done right. And I talk about it all the time. Me and Armchair, I think Johnny, after you left, me and Armchair had a very discussion about like diversity and why. Yeah, it's gonna be an episode in discussion about diversity and basically, yeah. And it was kind of like one of those conversations we have, and we was talking about diversity, especially with me and him both being black. It was like, I don't mind diversity if it's done organically, but if it's forced, you're just trying to force for the character down our throat. The writers and the people and the consumer get upset because like
right, exactly. Yeah. It's like, hey, I just kicked your ass, and by the way, did you know I'm black? You know, exactly. It's like, or am I Asian, or I'm a woman, or whatever like that. It's kind of like the fact that I haven't seen it yet, but like you were talking about how you like the Wonder Woman movie, and I'll put that on my viewing list. But what I'm saying is, Wonder Woman was always a woman. Like when they made her back in the 1930s, I think. It's sort of like she has not appropriated the gender of some other hero like Thor being female or Iron Man being 15-year-old black girl. Wonder Woman was always a woman, and we always knew that. And I don't think they made her to be a token female. I think they just thought, here's a great idea. We're going to take a Greek goddess and have her beat the shit out of Adolf Hitler. So that was going on back in the 1940s. That's what they were thinking. So, okay, I'm cool with that. But, yeah, like you were saying, when they put it in your face and they shove it down your throat, and every panel's got to have some sort of, like, socially relevant subtext, then that's when it gets annoying. And you can't enjoy the story for the sake of the story.
Yeah, you gotta be something. You gotta have some stupid agenda behind it. It's like politicians, like not politicians. We see comic book writers on Twitter talking about Donald Trump as president. It's like, you write comic books, dude. Shut the fuck up. Like nobody take you serious. Like you fucking write a non-fictional character. Why are you taking your core ideologies, your core elements, your core philosophies, your core ideology and your beliefs into this character? First of all, this character was not a feminist in the first place. It's like prime example to me. I had my first character, and I'm using my face for the character because it's my very first character I ever created. So I was like, well, I want to have a character that relates to me, so I'm just going to use my face on it. So when I go through some things, he go through things. He look at the world the same way I view it. But it's a thing, though. Even though he looks just like my face to me, I'm still able to say, you know what? Keep my issues aside and still write him as a comic book character, even though he looks like me in comic books. And I'm still able to just be and say, you know what? Okay, cool. Keep my issues on my side. I may have different opinions on a lot of things. And even though he may be blue pill in the even though I'm red pill in real life, and he's blue pill in the comic books, I'm able to see different perspectives. And to me, it's like I've always said about source material. It's like why source material is so goddamn important. And I said it yesterday in the conversation we had for our pre-discussion of the show before this episode. I said that these comic book companies they pissing me off. These comic book movies, even though I love them, and even though some are hit or miss with a lot of times with these movies, is that the comic book movies and this comic book popularity is making it harder to enjoy the craft. It's making it harder to enjoy the comic books thing that the company should be getting source material from. It's like you got X-Men, you got Fox. They fucked up on what they fucked in the Dark Phoenix saga on X-Men and X3. Yeah, X-Men, X3 The Last Stand, right? X-Men 3 The Last Stand.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they had the fucking how many storylines they had going on? They had Jean, He's Dark Phoenix in the whole thing. She killed shit. And then you got the fucking military coming out with this damn fucking dark to take away mutants' power and make the fucking mutants human again and shit like that. It's like all this shit going on, and it's like, fam, it's like, damn, stick to one storyline. If you gonna do fucking Dark Phoenix, do the shit. And that's why when I look at fucking Fox doing the shit with fucking Dark Phoenix again, like, you fucked up on it again. Like, you gonna fuck it up even more because you're not embracing the source material. And plus, this I'm talking about why source material is so goddamn important. It's a problem I have with comic book movies nowadays. They want to do all these most advanced storylines, but it took years to build up. Like, I remember reading X-Men when I was a goddamn kid, and then I remember reading X-Men as a goddamn kid. The comics were real cheap back in the day, and then you got the Dark. I remember reading the Dark Phoenix saga. I didn't read all the issues, but I read most of them.
I did, yeah.
All them years they spent up, like, she was an X-Men, and you got Jean, she's an X-Men. She's working with Storm, she's working with Nightcrawler, she's working with Cyclops, Wolverine, and Rogue, and Gambit. Like, basically they built the team of unit up of the old classic X-Men, right? And then she becomes evil with the Dark Phoenix saga, and she starts to corrupt her and shit like that. It's like that, you got to build up to that shit. And that's the problem I have with comic book movies nowadays. That even though I enjoy them, it's like they skipping the build up and saying, you know what, let's just fucking skip to the fucking point. Like, you got the new Flash movie called Flashpoint, and everybody knows the Flashpoint paradox where fucking Barry goes back in time, fucks everything just to see his mom and shit.
Yeah, okay, right, yeah.
He fucks it up, and DC's trying to do the fucking Flashpoint shit. I'm like, DC, like, you got one good movie on your goddamn belt, don't fuck it up. Like, and trying to do it with a soft reboot. And that's the problem I have with studios, and it's this the reason why I often say, like, in source material, which is why it should, and I said it yesterday, I'm gonna say it again to this day in this episode, that I think it's so important that the source material it comes first, and then what you plan to do with the movie. Because like I said before, you can have the source material and still make your own movie. Nothing wrong with that. But long as you're faithful to the source material, it's like Spider-Man: Homecoming. I saw Spider-Man: Homecoming the second time. 7 out of 10. I gave it a 9.5 out of 10. But overall, it was average. It was not. It was, to me, it's like, okay, they made fucking Flash Thompson a goddamn Indian kid. First of all, Flash Thompson white in the goddamn comic books. Okay, he's a white kid. He's a fucking cop. He picks on Peter Parker, and later on, him and Peter Parker end up becoming friends. And then, he ends up becoming fucking Venom. And the Agent Venom in the comic books, when he loses his arm and shit, he gets his leg amputated, and then he becomes Agent Venom. So it's like you gotta build up to this type of shit. And when you fucking just rush the storylines out there because we got this short attention span of this ADD and short attention span people, because, oh my God, we gotta fucking placate market to these people. Like, build up to the damn event. And then, like for me, even I'm getting tired of Marvel movies with this Marvel fatigue shit. It's like Marvel, it took them years for them to build up to finish the Infinity War, and now they get to the Infinity War, and now I'm kind of satisfied because I watched all the Marvel movies, even the ones I fucking hated. To get to this point, that long as you break the source material, you build up the character. If you got a villain, I talk about, like, when I first started writing comic books, one thing I learned about when I gave him like simple villains. It's like for the first 20 issues, my first character I created, I'm on 100 issues. I'm on 100 issues of that character right now. 100 issues, which is a lot of issues, right? For
nice.
Yeah. For experienced writer like myself. And like I was saying, one thing I noticed, I talk about how the more he gets experienced, the more he starts taking on more advanced villains. He starts taking on more comic book villains, more villains that challenge him, villains that give him a hard time. He started getting to the best of the roles. Like, he takes some criminals and mob bosses and stuff like that. And I've always said I really wanted to as a writer, one thing I really wanted to do was this. Shit, what the fuck was it? I really wanted to what is it? Johnny? Yeah. Basically.
Yeah, man, I'm here. What's up?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'll hear you.
Oh yeah, okay. But it's like, yeah, based on what I was saying before, it's like one thing I learned about for me is the fact that you build up the villains. You just can't fucking go into the good villains and then you go down to the leaders villains. Like, you gotta build up to the good villains. Like,
yeah, like you're gonna have to fight Vulture and Rhino before you get to Doc Ock. You know what I mean? Right. Exactly.
Yeah, and you have to do that, and I feel like that's the problem with the source material. People don't want to loosely adapt it. They want to take the source material and bend it for what it is. Like, no, the source material is what it is. Now, I like Logan because Logan, it actually felt like a period. It felt like a what you call it? It felt like a period piece. Not a period piece. It felt like a movie where it was like it just actually not. It was no. It was, even though it was some kind of superhero stuff in it, we had claws in it. It actually felt like a person following Logan. You following him, Professor X on Logan. And you watching him take care of the old Professor X, the white mutants wiped out Logan and stuff like that, but stuff like that. So like, I have no problem with that. But like when you see based off a team and say, you know, this is based off, this is the X-Men, and we're basing it off in the 90s. Like, follow source material. You can change the costumes and everything, but follow the source material. And when you follow the source material, and sometimes it backfire. Like, I know my friend of mine, he's a he loves X1 and 2, but he hates fucking X-Men First Class. If you look at X-Men First Class, it's more X-Men First Class is faithful to source material. X-Men First Class is one of my favorites Fox movies, favorite X-Men movies of all time. I love X-Men First Class, Magneto, a young Professor X, and before he got in the wheelchair, straight to his head ball and stuff like that, like a young Mystique and a young Beast and all these people. Like, I enjoyed it for what it was. Like, I love X-Men First Class. And I feel like
because X-Men First Class was actually like the first 50 issues of X-Men from the 60s. Yeah. They put that in there. They were pretty faithful to the source material. You're right about that.
Yeah, and that's why I get so mad. That's why I get so mad and upset at people like, man, I hate X-Men First Class. I'm like, all right, you ripped the other X-Men movies for being terrible, but you want to talk about, oh, the other movies are fine. It's like well, I talk about, for me, this is my problem. Like the modern day Superman we got in the film nowadays, like Man of Steel. People love Man of Steel. Like, Man of Steel is not a terrible movie. I'm not gonna say it's trash. It's not terrible. I
feel the same way. It's good, but it's like great.
It's like people praise the movie, be like, oh my gosh, next night to take on Superman. And it's like, I love this Superman don't take no shit, but like, I'm like, you do it. Like, hey, if you ever read a Superman comic book, I'm talking about the way pre-Freedom 52, the red trunks. That Superman fun and bright. When I see Superman, I see fun and bright Superman. I see a Superman that just, he wants to help an old lady cross the street or a cat from a tree. I know it may seem cartoonish to people, but that's what a superhero is supposed to be. A superhero is supposed to be big and help. When you see Superman,
you can't take Superman, who has that optimistic psychology, and then turn him into the Punisher. It don't work. It don't work. And that's exactly like, we're just going to make another anti-hero. But this one, doesn't use guns. It's like, you know what? Don't make it so easy like that. It's too dumb. It's watered down. And yeah, you are betraying the source material because you have fans.
And that's why I get so mad at people who praise Superman and DCU. I'm like, that ain't Superman. That's an asshole who just happened to wear the Superman costume, dog. He ain't Superman. Like, even if you watch Man of Steel, this goes back to source material. If you watch Man of Steel, like the movie, Man of Steel is not bad. It's not good. It's neutral. Yeah, I have a neutral feeling with that character. Like,
me too.
Sometimes I love it, but like when I watched it, I was watching on FX. I was watching on FX yesterday. Came on yesterday. Watching this shit, I was watching it with a critical eye. I'm like, this shit is not Superman. Like, this guy just like, you find having his powers as a fucking burden. You got fucking Paul Kent, who's supposed to be Paul Kent and Mark Kent. And fucking they're supposed to be helping inspirations, and you got fucking Mark Kent and Batman vs Superman talking about fuck them. You know what I'm saying? Fuck them. You don't owe them people nothing. I'm like, but you're a fucking superhero that walk around with a cape. Like, you going around saving people. You call yourself Superman. Like, if you don't want to be Superman, dude, take the damn costume off and just live a normal life. That's the goddamn case. If you find saving people is a goddamn burden, then don't be goddamn Superman. And that's the problem I literally have with Superman, and it goes back to the X-Men. Besides X-Men First Class, which I think was a phenomenal film, in my opinion, but it goes back to what I was saying before: when you portray the source material and you go against it, and you go against those pop like DC, Warner Brothers, DC saw Batman: The Dark Knight and be like, oh hell yeah, let's make Superman like Batman. With Batman's a human character. You can do it. You can do it with that character because he's human. He had to train. He had to learn. He spent years learning detective work. Like I said before on my stream, last stream I just did. Batman being a metahuman, about being a metahuman. Like You know, Batman spent years training. Superman is a guy who was given superpowers, right? He gets his power. He's powered by the yellow sun. You know, the red sun, he's weakened, right?
Right.
The kryptonite, whatever. So when you talk about when you talk about source material, you're talking about betraying the source material. You're going against the one thing that hurts the source material, and that is, which is why I hate Man of Steel. Man of Steel, that last battle when he fought in Metropolis and shit, and that one scene in 30 pissed me off, and it goes against source material, which is why I hate this movie to this day. When he's fighting General Zod, and when he pushed that LexCorp I think it was when he had pushed the last LexCorp gasoline truck in front of him, instead of him using his heat vision to stop the damn truck, he flew over the damn truck and let the damn truck hit the building. I said Superman would never do that. He would try to stop.
Right. He would stop the destruction as much as possible. He would do, you know, like what? Yeah, I mean, damage control is one of the first things on Superman's mind. You know, he does not want to have like a busted up city like the Avengers did in the first Avengers movie. And that's where, you know, the writers of that movie said, oh, yeah, we're going to throw all that shit out the window. And they did. They did.
I mean, and that's the thing. That's the thing for me. That's the problem I have with people who just want to take the source material and be like, okay, yeah, we're gonna give you Superman, but we ain't gonna really give you Superman. We're gonna say we're gonna take our version of Superman and be what it is. Like, to me, I don't mind Elseworld stories and comic books because we have always got Elseworld stories for years. Elseworld stories of what if his character was like this, like Red Sun Superman, right? Where the Kents never raised him, but he was raised by he was raised in his country by praying whatever.
And Armchair, what's up?
Hey, man, I just got back from the library, checked out a comic, man, and I'm just now getting it at 3:30. But yeah, man, I'm going to join on my computer. My computer's booting up now. I'm going to join on my computer, so I'll be right back.
All right, man. Cool. Yeah, but like based on what I was saying before, like I feel like we live in today's society nowadays, especially with Marvel and they fucking dumbass anti-social justice agenda. They just want to keep shitting on the goddamn characters, and what they don't fucking realize is that same thing with 2011 when DC did New 52. People hated New 52 and people didn't buy DC comic books or products for a long time. And I'm on eBay to this day. People still sell their products. I was telling people, I was like, people are getting fed up with Marvel and they bullshit. And people are really getting fed up with you saying you take the source material and say fuck it. You know, fuck giving you Iron Man, fuck giving you Steve Rogers and Tony Stark and original Hawkeye and just let's you know, like, and it's like for me because they want to be dicks about it. We can't give you the Fantastic Four because Fox own it. Okay, that's the movie. Well, like I said before, that's the movie rights. But just because you don't own movie rights, you can't still be a dick about it. Look, when I grew up on Marvel when the Fantastic Four was around, the original X-Men, Spider-Man. It was three characters that made Marvel what they are, and this what modern Marvel fail to realize. It was the X-Men, Spider-Man, and fucking Fantastic Four that made them who they were. And seeing Captain America somewhere too when he first came out. Like he made those are the flagship characters of Marvel. When you look at Marvel nowadays, it's like you got Captain Carol Danvers, who was Captain Lesbian Marvel. She don't have that one piece suit no more. She have that one piece, that battle suit on, whatever. It's like they scared to do it, and it's like they shit on legacy characters. Like, you know, here's the thing. I'm not the biggest Fantastic Four fan, but I feel sorry for those people who grew up on the original Fantastic Four series, like with Johnny Storm and Sue Storm and Mr. Fantastic and The Thing, and you know, like I feel sorry for those people who want that type of shit to come back, but like, cause fucking they owned by Disney. And fucking Marvel would be dickheads about it. Say, well, we don't own the Fantastic Four rights, so we're gonna keep them dead and alive, or we're gonna break them up and we're gonna put the thing on the fucking humans and shit like that. It's like it's the dumbest shit ever. And what they don't realize is like, one, fans are getting fed up with your shit. And like I said before, like when I asked you and answered that question yesterday about the comic book crashing, and be honest with you, I think a crash is coming, dude. It's gonna come. It's gonna happen. It may not happen now, but it's gonna happen soon.
I think so too. I think there's going to be a comic book crash, not due to economic reasons like it did in '94, like we were talking about last night, but I think it's going to crash due to the fact that people don't want to read this shit. It's as simple as that. It's like, I have to have Lieutenant Lesbian comics. What the fuck, or Commodore Tranny or some shit, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. I know that throughout Marvel's history, they've always tried to, you know, they like it with Alpha Flight years and years ago, like back in the late 90s. It's like, okay, North Star is gay. And his sister's insane. She's got like bipolar, or you know, she's got a split personality and all that kind of stuff. And they want you to kind of like feel sorry for the character. Yeah. But at the same time, okay, all right, that, you know, that's you know, that's an issue that they wanted to deal with. But it wasn't so in your face that the fact that it had to be in the news and everything like that. And way back in '75, you know, they had the Giant Size X-Men, and you had all these X-Men from different nations, which I thought was kind of cool. You know, it's like you had an Irish superhero, you had a Japanese one, you had a Native American one, you had an African one. You know, there were all these different X-Men that were representing people from around the globe. Now, I understand from a marketing standpoint that will help get new readers from different countries that might not have been into comic books, and that's cool. That makes more money. I'm fine with that. But now it's they're trying to do the opposite. They're trying to funnel it down to like, oh, you voted for Trump, you shouldn't buy our books. Well, that's half of America, you know?
Yeah. And that's the thing about what these companies don't fucking realize. Like, fam, you are a fucking comic book company. Keep your fucking political views out of shit. As a businessman, look, I don't own a business, but if I own a comic book company, they literally told me, and they said, look, no filter, look, they ain't buying Brave Comics, which is if I own a company one day, it would be called Brave Comics. And like they say, look, nobody's not buying Black Arrow. And you being too political with your drug tie bullshit. It was like, all right, you know what? I done that. I looked down. I called writers meeting, and I look at my writers. I said, you know what? We got to double down on this stuff. And sitting there, it was like, well, but if we do this, and it's like, oh, prime example, they say, you know, nobody's not buying the issues, and they're saying, you know what? I'm tired of fucking this crazy shit, because say for instance, I write an issue, right? And I write a female character, and she's drawn a certain way on the cover. Because you gotta entice the reader to buy the damn cover, because the cover, it's like, what's it say? It's a visual medium. It's kind of like comic books, like a visual medium. So you look at the cover and be like, holy shit, hell yeah, I gotta buy this issue. And they read like, oh, I'm glad I brought this issue. And it's like, oh, I'm sitting there and I look at my writer. I tell my artist department, I tell the artist in the artist department, I tell them like, man, you know what? I don't want to do this, man, but draw kind of provocative. It's like, why, man? But feminists can get upset. I'm like, man, here's the thing. I'm like, are they gonna fuck about the comic books? No, then draw it. And then people respond back and say, oh my God, man, this could the character was drawn provocative, but damn, that was a damn good issue. And it's like sex sells, like it's like sex, like it sells.
Right.
You gotta placate to the male audience, because like comic book readers are males are 95%, like 95% of comic book readers are males, right? So it's like you gotta placate to them. Like, I'm gonna do myself, even on a mental. I like looking at a nice woman on the fucking comic book cover. I'm not gonna fucking sit here and lie and say I fucking don't. I do. Like, if I'm looking at fucking Batgirl, like a Supergirl, I want somebody to be drawn a certain way. I'm like, I don't care about this whole idea of, oh, we gotta make women feel we can't show women being drawn a certain way. I'm like,
you can't have fat Batgirl. Exactly.
It makes no sense. It doesn't work that way, and people don't realize, and that's what these companies don't realize. Like, yeah, you can fucking placate to them, but all you fucking doing is making it harder. You making it harder for people that want.
Like you said, 95% of the comic book companies, they're. I'm sorry, 95% of the readership is probably male, and we don't need to cater to a cosplayer who has not read one issue of Supergirl, but she goes with the conventions dressed up looking perfectly like Supergirl. You know, like Lauren Southern does that. She goes to these she cosplays at these comic book conventions. Does she read comic books? Does she have a file at the local comic shop? I doubt it. You know, we want people that actually buy the damn book, and that's the thing. If you're worrying about what Trigglypuff thinks about, some superheroine who looks really fit and has big boobs and wears a skimpy costume. Well, you know what? 95% of the male readership cares about that, and you know, Trigglypuff doesn't buy comics.
Yeah. And that's the thing that's what these companies will realize, DC, Marvel included. Like, these companies need to realize, like, you need to understand 95% of your male readership is males. Like, placate to that. Like porn. Like, much like people say, some people may hate porn because porn can be addictive. But look at porn. Why the fuck you think there's more male porn stars than male porn stars? Why? Because as a guy, you want to look at some nice big tits. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like saying,
right,
it's a bad.
You know, here's what it'd be like McDonald's saying, you know, we're going to stop serving beef because vegans are getting mad. I mean, that ain't going to happen. McDonald's is always going to have two all beef patties. You know, it's always going to happen.
Yeah, and they don't realize, like, for me, it's like you got to stop placating to the people, man. Stop giving into their demands, because all it is hurting the fucking industry. And the reason why I do this series, because I genuinely care about comic books. Like, this is my favorite genre, man. Like I love comic books, from everything geek related. Like, when I see comic book companies is giving in to these people, like, man, we gotta make these women feel comfortable. Like, fuck these women feelings. Like, no, like, people want to buy comic books again. People want to fucking feel like, you know, people want to look at the character like, man, that's Superman, that's Superman, that's my Superman I grew up with. You know, like, when you sit in there and say, you know what, I'm gonna make Batman a metahuman, or I'm gonna make Wonder Woman a lesbian because, you know, lesbian, like, basically, because gay people always need to be talked about. Like, I'm fucking fed up with these people, because I hate when that shit happens, because, like, all they fucking doing is making it hard for people that want to get into comic books. So when you do have somebody, you do tell somebody, yo, man, get into comic books, man, and they tell you what issue you want to buy, and it's like, man, I read that issue, man, that was a fucking terrible ass issue. You didn't tell me fucking it was on Social Justice Warrior bullshit. And I was like, oh yeah, I should have told you about that shit. And it's like, that's my problem I literally have with comic books nowadays. It's like, comic book companies nowadays is trying to placate and make people feel safe. Like, oh my God, we can't offend women because we can't make women feel like we can't have what is it? I'm gonna use a character. Like, we can't. Let's take Catwoman as a prime example. DC comes out with a Catwoman, and like, she's drawn a certain way, and she has like a little bit of a titty showing, not all the way, but like you can see some of the titties showing, right? They're like, and feminist, it was like, oh, we're not buying this issue. And if I was a businessman saying, I don't give a fuck, you don't buy the comic book no way. So it's like, I'm not listening to you. And it's like, that's the problem I literally have with comic book companies nowadays, and just giving into them. Like, stop giving into them, because these people don't care about the comic books, because, like I said before, and it's like the video game industry. Video game industry is gonna crash soon, because people getting tired of these broken ass games. And you wondering why people don't want to buy your material no more. People don't want to buy your shit because your fucking shit trash and suck. You give people a half broken ass game, and they'll say, "Oh, instead of giving you all the content, you got to pay for on DLC." No, fuck.
Right, exactly. It'd be like with video games. They try to release it as a pre-alpha, and they never finished the damn thing. I'm not going to take my chance on that. I'm not going to, like, spend money for something that might never get finished, or will get finished, but it stays broken. And I'm not going to do that.
It's a broken policy, and what these people don't realize is, like, fam, it's like, you have to placate to the readers that buy your shit. Look, I buy comic books. I buy comic book merchandise, and that's why I get so fucking upset. Where I feel like me, you, Armchair Stewart, and people that really, and you don't even have to be mentor related, people that want to buy comic books, but it's hard to get into this shit without some social feminist, just some feminist justice being feminist agenda being pushed on your goddamn throat, talking about, oh, you're a mother, you're a man, so you're evil as fuck. Like, nobody wants to read that shit, man. Nobody wants to fucking read 8 pages talking about how men are evil and shit. Like, I don't want to read that type of shit. I don't.
And look what they're doing with like Game of Thrones. You know,
Yeah.
they're all the women now, even the bad women, are the leaders.
That show took a huge dive. I hate the Game of Thrones anyway, so I can give a fuck up. But yeah, but like even Game of Thrones is on that fucking feminist bullshit, and you got the fucking cuck showrunner talking about, you know, it would be different, you know, if that was a group of men fucking talking about men's strategy, shit be boring as hell. I'm like, no, fuck you and your feminist gender, dude. Like, fuck you, dude. Literally, you full of shit right now, and it's the problem I have with modern day entertainment, and it goes back to not the source material, that these people don't care, dude. These people do not fucking care about. They They literally don't care. They literally don't care about the source material. And when you're shitting on source material, and you say, you know what? Yeah, I can't give you what you want in the movies. I can't make Batman. I can't. It's like Zack Snyder. When people talk about Zack Snyder talking about, oh, I love Zack Snyder to take on superheroes. Like, no, Zack Snyder's a pompous jerk asshole who just fucked the Superman. I'm like, and that's why I say, to me, I mean, I felt bad what happened to his daughter, but it's like, I'm glad that the asshole's off of Justice League, because it's like, fam, like, his vision with that fucking dark color shit, and like, it's like, fam, I've always said to me in general, look, I'm an adult, you an adult, armchair, everybody, mostly, we all adults in this system. So I love adult things like drug addiction and just, you know, basically like real adult things, because I'm an adult myself. I'm not a teenager. I can't relate to teenagers, right? I don't mind adult things. Sometimes I just want to turn my brain off for 2 seconds and say, you know what? I want to watch a fucking, I want to watch fucking, I want to see Superman, Batman beat the shit out of damn Joker. Okay?
Yeah, right.
Like, nothing wrong with that. It's literally nothing wrong with that. It's like, let people have the medium and how they're supposed to have it, instead of you just trying to make it for what it is and say, oh, we can't give you that. It's like Marvel right now. The reason why I fucking say fuck Marvel and they comic book and they generally keep trying to push, it's like, Marvel, you being a dick about shit. You wondering why motherfuckers don't want to buy your damn product. I don't want to buy your goddamn product either. It's like, you keep shitting on the fucking consumer. You're shitting on the consumer that buys your fucking product. People want to fucking buy comic books. You know what I'm saying? I want to see the comic book industry succeed. I don't want to fucking see this shit crash, because I want to enter this shit. I'm not finna down. I don't want to enter the industry that's dying out. But if a crash what it takes for you assholes to learn, especially Marvel, and like I understand they backed by Disney, but here's the thing: Disney got money pumped into that damn company, and like, whether you know it or not, you lose a month. It may be millions of damn dollars, true, but millions is just like $1 billion. Like, you ain't trying to lose that much money on some dumb shit, and people piss me off with that type of shit. I hate when fucking people do that dumb shit, man.
Well, if they're not listening to the consumers, my fear is that they're listening to the government. I'm not talking about like Donald Trump and stuff like that, but I'm talking about like the Democratic National Congress or somebody. You got to follow the money. Who the hell is paying Disney, who owns Marvel, all this money to create this crappy content nobody wants to read? Who's doing it?
Yeah, who really is behind this? Because what's pissing me off is
Good question.
who really behind? For me, it's like Disney. You got enough money as it is. Like, and to me, and like I said before, I don't even think it. I think it's Marvel because they're on the social justice bullshit. But I think Disney's behind this shit too. Because I look at Disney right now and they bullshit and they power trip they fucking on. Well, we got the Marvel movies, so the fuck comics don't mean shit. Look at the Disney movies, man. I mean, every fucking movie features some like lesbian or WGTOW heroine. You know, like Frozen and Brave and all that shit. They don't have the Jungle Book anymore. They don't have Simba anymore. They don't have a strong male character anymore. They don't have Tarzan. They have, Ella, and they have Ariel, and they have all these like female leads. In the past they had Cinderella and Snow White and stuff like that, but at the same time they also were able to throw in male-oriented plots. They don't do that anymore, man. They don't. No. And what hurts the industry, and I said it so many times, what's gonna hurt the comic book industry is that I can see crash soon, and that the crash is gonna happen, and then the comic book comes and get this shit together, and they're gonna fuck up. And it's just like, you know what? fuck giving you what you want. I don't give a and that's the saying that, and that's the sad part about back in the day. I look, and you know, the comic book industry back in the 90s, even though in the 80s and stuff like that, they had their little moments, whatever. Well, I can respect comic book industries now, back in the day versus today. The business model is all fucked up. We're gonna give people a shitty ass product, beat you over the head with social issues. And like I said before, I don't mind you being political on one or two issues. Get your point across, do what you need to do. But understand, comic book is an entertainment medium. And when you go around here shitting on the fucking fans saying, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about what you think. I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna give you this shitty ass, shitty content. It's like when fucking, like I said with Gail Simone yesterday, I talked about when I was on her page. So she was talking about the fucking transgender people being banned from the military. Oh, this is wrong. This is all foul and fucked up. And I just like, can you just shut the hell up and just goddamn like he's doing the right thing here. Like, and plus, if y'all know how transgender medicine go, which is off topic here, but transgender it's expensive as fuck, man. That shit is mad fucking expensive, especially talking about gender change, swapping out genders, changing genders and shit. That shit is mad fucking expensive and shit. Okay, like. So my thing is, these people, what these writers need to understand is shut the fuck about your political views. All right, cool. Like, write your damn comic books. Nobody wants to hear you about your political views. It's like motherfucking ESPN and they fucking problems talking about, man, people don't want to watch ESPN no more. People don't want to watch ESPN no more because every time you point, every two got them saying about some fucking female, about some female football, some football wife got her head smashed in because she wants some bullshit. Stop already. Like stop with this little bullshit politics. And once you get back to once you get out to nitty gritty and get back to where it all meant, the source material, and give the fans what the fuck they want, people buy the shit. I remember when DC gave me New 52. I said, fuck the New 52. I'm not buying that shit. Now, I brought a couple issues like Court of Owls. I think the Court of Owls, Talon was a good introduction. I love Talon. He was a motherfucking savage in that animated movie. But like overall, like in the Court of Owls, but outside of that shit, man, New 52 was a fucking rip off. Hashtag that shit was fucking terrible. Superman being a fireman, he wasn't a fucking journalist. He wasn't a news reporter or a journalist for the fucking Daily Bugle. Like I'm not the Daily Planet. Like I'm whatever the Daily Planet. Like my problem with that shit is like I'm fucking fed up with this type of shit because these assholes don't fucking realize you're fucking up something that make no goddamn sense here. Stick to the source material and then like motherfuckers about the shit. Like I look at to me, that's why I think I would make a great person. Is like if I had a comic book company, I would make a great person because I'm a firm believer. Like I would just make it 100% creator driven. Because you know why? Because I don't want to censor somebody's art and say, you know what? All right, cool, man. It's like Stewart with fucking Nut Job. But Stewart came to me and said, you know what? No filter, man. You got a comic book company. Here's my issue. I love publishing. You know why? Because you need different type of characters out there that some people can relate to that type of shit. Like
right. I hear that. Yeah, exactly. Like so, if you did have something like Nut Job that no one else would publish, even though people are hungry to read it, the political structure is not there right now. They won't let it. They won't let them have Nut Job, even though a 15-year-old boy right now he would love to read that shit. He'd love it.
Yeah. But the thing is, the media won't allow that shit. They know not to. They won't allow it, and that's the thing about comic book companies that I feel like that's the reason why I say I used to be one of those writers before I ever became a big time. I wanted to become a creator. When I was a creator, all I wanted to do was work for Marvel and DC. And now I see this shit going on where the dumbass decisions and the crash that's soon about to happen. I'm like, man. Fuck these assholes, man. I don't want to work for these people, man. These people are just evil as fuck.
Yeah, I know. You would not be able to write anything that you wanted to. Hey, Armchair, what's up?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey.
So Armchair, this is very, because we can go more in depth with source material now. What you think? Do you think source material is important, or people should just, just say, and try to come up with their own shit and just stick to it?
No, man, that's asking me a question to me that's so obvious. Source material is very important. And like, if you give it too damn much, you might as well just go and make your own original shit. Make your own original movie or whatever, TV show, whatever. I think all these shows that deviate so damn much from the source material is not recognizable. It's like at least Daredevil didn't do it too bad, but like some shit like DC is fucking up Kai's goat. Even Daredevil deviate a lot, almost too much at this point for me because it's making it like Daredevil's like a bitch or whatever they're doing. But like, yeah. he's not I'm not never a super badass, but he's a pretty badass in the comics and the show. He's kind of a British guy. He's kind of whiny or whatever, and not as powerful. Or even just Punisher can just almost whooped his ass. So it's kind of like, man, they're making him kind of a bitch. I know it's early Daredevil, but damn. But then Batman fucking him like he's using guns, and well, even though originally I know he originally used guns. I had debated somebody on YouTube about this on some other guy's channel, and they're like, they all thumbed up my comment because I said, Batman, I know you originally used guns and shit, but Batman, what I'd known from the 90s cartoon and the way the comics were in that period, I grew with Batman not using guns, using batarangs. Because he used batarangs, right? The next issue, they fix it, made him use batarangs and not kill people. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, that makes more sense than having a guy. What's the point of being Batman if he just needs a gun? Like, you could just run around with a mask and shoot the criminals and shit. You're Batman. You're supposed to be smart detective and shit, like the video games and the cartoon. But whatever, man. That's just like they're gonna keep on fucking up until they learn.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And that's the thing about, for me, the discussion is talking about. We really need to have a very in-depth discussion about source material, because I'm be honest with you right now, especially with the Superman, with their whole fucking Superman talking about, oh, so my Man of Steel Superman is the best Superman ever. Y'all must be on that crack, bro. What the fuck I saw on Man of Steel was a whole different goddamn story. It's like it's not even going to come. It goes back to what I was saying before that. These comic book companies, these people don't care about the source material. For them, it's like, well, the source material don't mean shit, so we just gonna fucking give you what the fuck you wanted. It's like, all right, dude, like, but stick to at least stick to some source material. God damn, you ain't gotta be 100% faithful with the shit, but like, god damn it, at least if the character's fun and bright, let the character be fun and bright. Change the costume up, cool, I don't mind it. Okay, whatever. But like, if the character's fun and bright, let it be fun and bright. There's nothing wrong with having a campy character. Like, I know people fuck with me when I say this, but like, let's take Adam West Batman 1966. Compared to today's standard, that shit campy as fuck. I brought that whole. I just recently brought that series like yesterday. I brought that whole series, the whole complete series, all seasons, whatever. And I watched it, and even though it's dumb as hell, it's goofy, I can admire it for what it was. I'm like,
yeah.
At least you know what it is compared to what Superman and the Man of Steel and like.
Yeah, dude, that'd be like making Plastic Man the Punisher.
Yeah. I mean, we gotta remember, Batman in the '60s became super campy because of the comic codes, like you were talking about yesterday, Johnny, and like they became campy and goofy with aliens,
that's right,
shark repellent spray and all that shit. And so it was super goofy, so they made the show that goofy. And also it's easier to make a goofy show with lower budget than a serious show. It would have been too high a budget to
that's true. But then like when we talk about like say source material and the changing of the comic code, and then here comes The Watchmen. And that movie was pretty damn faithful to the comics.
You gotta admit, I gotta give Stack.
But Alan Moore worked on it too. So,
I didn't know Alan Moore didn't. I thought he didn't work on. I thought he hates all the movies adaptations of.
Oh no! I was talking about the comic.
He hated the movie though. Like I think years later he talked about he hated the movie. Like he hated the movie.
He's such a hipster. He hates all movies. Period.
Yeah, he does.
Well, that's just him in general. He just like that. Like, most comic book creators like that. Like
they're all crazy, eccentric, and whatever.
Like Frank Miller's like Frank Miller's the same way. Frank Miller's like he's just a fucking insane, crazy ass person. But whatever.
Well, he worked with the Sun City films though. He did actually work with them. He's getting old. He has type of disease or something, man. He looks terrible.
Really?
He looks worse than Stan Lee. Stan Lee's still going strong. Stan Lee, I think, eats babies at night or something.
I'm still amazing.
He was a vampire or something.
Matter of fact, I got this convention called Dragon Con where like the celebrities give me Stan Lee to come in. I'm trying to get pictures of Stan Lee. It's gonna be hard as hell to get to him, but man.
Yeah, man. Stan Lee charges because he is a Jew, so he charges, man, like $100. He came to my state and he was going to. I didn't even have to give raise enough money to even go down there, but I was read online that he wants like $100 per photo. Like, damn, man, you can keep that shit. I don't want to just take a. I like your comics and shit, but they're really not overrated because it's the original comics. They getting better with like X-Men became better with Chris Claremont and other writers made Spider-Man better. Right. It's the later writers, and then Frank Miller made Daredevil what it is. Daredevil was just a kind of a rip-off of Spider-Man originally with a devil costume. So he made it darker and added the sex and the violence to Daredevil, make it so good, so.
But you know, like one thing I gotta give, like for me, I don't like too many comic book writers nowadays because I feel like they act like they shit don't stink. You got some kiss their ass talking about how great they are as writers and shit. But like when like Frank Miller, like look, I'm gonna say this about Frank Miller, even though I think Dark Knight Returns is highly overrated. I think here's the thing. I think it brought Batman to the dark to me, but I think it's highly overrated because the praise it on for what it is. Like, oh, Batman beat Superman, so it's like that proves it. I'm like, but if you think about it, if Oliver Queen never shot the Kryptonite arrow, Batman would never beat Superman. So technically, that he didn't beat Superman by himself. That just Oliver Queen helped him. So people fail to forget that point. But my point I was saying, like I can't stand most comic book writers nowadays. But with Frank Miller, man, he goes on his rants, he start doing this crazy shit. But man, I can admire his work, man. Man, get shit done.
When Frank Miller is like the Dallas Cowboys, when he sucks, they suck. He sucks bad. When he's good, they're excellent.
Yeah. So you also have to remember too, Frank Miller is one of the people that softened the comic code back in the 80s. I mean, he was one of those people that was like, fuck it, I'm gonna actually show Daredevil drenched in blood. I'm going to show, a batarang inside Joker's eyeball. I don't care. I'm gonna show a bunch of dead Boy Scouts.
I like that Batman that he uses doesn't kill, but he's pushing it to the line, man. And I like that type of Batman where he is brutal. That's the way he is in Arkham Knight too. Just
but at the same time, Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller would also like bring back that kind of corny comics code attitude that superheroes would hold. Like when one kid cussed, he was cursing and stuff, and Batman goes, "Watch your language, son." It was like funny as hell.
Yeah,
but it was scary too.
He's running around with a teenage girl with glasses. It's like it's like ridiculous. Okay. When you watch the cartoon movie, you're like, what the hell am I watching? Because you're watching Batman run around with a teenage girl with big old glasses.
I saw that, yeah.
What grown man that fights crime at night would run around? Not only does he dress like a bat, but he runs around. He's fighting cops with a teenage girl and fighting crazy clowns with a teenage girl sidekick. Like, what the hell? You think it wouldn't be a stretch to think, oh, he's secretly banging her on the side. It wouldn't shock me at all.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, man. But like I said,
lips too.
Yeah, but like I said before about like source material, I think it's so important that you embrace it, that you know what it is. Like I said before, you can change the costumes around because we have had ton costume changes, and everybody knows how I feel about. Like I prefer traditional costumes. I don't give a fuck about the alternate costumes. Like I don't care. Like I prefer Superman with the red trunk. People may call me crazy, but that's just me because I grew up on that Superman. Like my dad, I grew up on that Superman. I grew up on that Superman. My dad, I remember my first Superman comic book. He had the red trunks. I was like, this is fucking amazing.
Right.
And I saw Batman the animated series. I said, Dad, forget Superman. Batman the coolest dude ever. I was like, dude, like, nah, man. Like, I grew up on Batman. Like, so I grew up on these characters. And when I talk about, for me, which is why I prefer classic comic books. Matter of fact, I have like 800 issues of like old retro classic DC, like classic DC with Dick Grayson when Jesse Ty got killed by Joker and shit, and Under the Red Hood, and I got the good DC. Like,
I had Hush, man, but it got lost in moving and shit. I had Batman Hush, a pristine copy of Batman Hush back. Got that for a birthday like 10 years ago. Then I also had Spider-Man Back in Black, but that story was kind of lame, but it had just cool imagery. So I had
the original Killing Joke.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, I sold that too. I got a lot of money from it.
I bet, man. If you'll hold on to it till now, and then the cartoon movie just came out,
don't even tell me. I know.
Yeah. You should have held on to it, man. And
I should have.
You should have. But that's the thing about me is the fact that like, for me, if I ever come across a rare toy, I have old action figures I brought in my childhood years. And they asked me like, will I ever sell them? I don't know. I don't know if I ever sell them because I'm a Batman fan. I have like 100 Batman action figures on my wall for some reason. Like it's kind of crazy.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. Like, I can't show you because I want to dox myself. But like,
right.
Yeah, hold on. It's dope. It's dope as hell. Like it's real dope as hell. Like I actually recently because I have DC collectibles. I did the DC collectibles. I have like what 40 Batman animated series, like all the figures, like Ventriloquist, Talia, Commissioner Gordon, like so I have like all Batman shit mostly on my wall, like that stuff. But like we're going back to what I was saying about source material. I think that the reason why I think source material is so important, that if you don't embrace source material, then if you ain't embracing the source material, then they don't do the project or the movie. Because it's like if you go against it, like that's my problem with Spider-Man Homecoming. Yes, Spider-Man Homecoming got Peter Parker right, but it's like Spider-Man never had an AI in a comic book. So that's why, like, man, like, all right, yeah, man, miss me with this bullshit, man. That made no goddamn sense.
Yeah, this early Spider-Man already has the AI. Spider-Man just talked to himself early on, man. In the 60s, in the 70s, and 80s, he was just talking to himself. He didn't have the type of AI type of shit going on until the symbiote suit or Iron Spider more recently, when Tony Stark gave him all that shit when he was in his 20s and shit. So it's like,
right,
they're fucking up by making him a teenager with a technologically advanced Spider-Man suit with parachutes and grappling hooks and
I mean, you know what they should have done? They should have just said it back in the 60s. Why not, right? Like when Spider-Man was cool. Like, you know, there was like all these old like
they couldn't make a Marvel universe,
shit, you know. Yeah, no, he wouldn't. They would have to
they would have to make it isolated and just make a story just for the fans of a 1960s, not straight up origin. Like it'd be equivalent of a few issues into it, like Amazing Fantasy. Just just like what it'd be after Amazing Fantasy, after the origin. Because we already know the origin. We've seen it done shitty in the first. Seen it done mediocre in the first movie, kind of shitty and amazing, but still we've seen the origin so many damn times. We don't see Spider-Man's very basic origin again. He
gets bit by a spider. Uncle Ben dies. You know.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, it's like, even with source material, like, for me, it's like, look, if they do a Batman movie, and if they really gonna get rid of if they really gonna get Ben Affleck and replace him as Batman, which is the dumbest shit ever, but they want to do. But if they do another Batman movie, don't give us a goddamn fucking origin story, because I done seen that dude pants get too many damn times, man. Like, I done seen too much already as it is, and like. You know what I'm saying?
I don't even watch Gotham, man. I don't even watch Gotham. I don't want to see that shit. I don't care what Batman did as a kid. Like, that's some stupid shit to me.
Oh, the Gotham show? I kind of like it.
If you like it, that's cool, man. If you like it, that's cool, man. But I just don't watch it.
Okay.
I don't have time for that, baby.
I know the show is bad. I'm like with Johnny. I know the show is bad, but I just watch it for just how bad it is. Like, now they got some bad, but they got some like the Riddler. I like the Riddler on the show. I think the Riddler was actually was the best.
Yeah. Oh my God. Thank you. The guy who played Ed Nigma as the pre-Riddler, amazing. Yeah. He stole the show for sure. Oh yeah.
Like even in the first season when he was working for DCPD or the GCPD and shit, when he was the fucking and rid of me this shit, I was like, this motherfucker gonna become Riddler by sometime soon.
Watch even if y'all don't play games, watch the Riddler from the Arkham series in the video game. That is dead on.
Oh,
Riddler. If you've ever played those games,
you get a question mark and then he'll like have that.
Yeah, but the way he talks, when you have to fight him. You have to fight him in the newest one. You had to fight him in the Arkham Knight game. You actually have to fight him in a next suit. And he's perfect dead on Riddler because he's that snarky attitude he has. It's more toned down than Jim Carrey though.
And like when he beat his ass and stuff, it's like this isn't supposed to happen.
But to me, like, I truly say this though. Like, the only thing I didn't like about the fucking I like Riddler in the Arkham games. But after Arkham Knight with that fucking Batmobile races, man, fuck them races, man. You know how many times I was fucking raging on that dumb shit. It was like, I'm like, this is
I there's some races I haven't even done yet. I had that game for 2 years now. And
that shit.
I don't even play. I play the combat and the Predator missions. That's it. I don't really fuck with the racing or the combat racing or whatever in the combat tank combat.
Right. Yeah.
I don't fuck with that shit. I do like it when you can when you're fighting criminals in the game and you can take them and punch them up in the air and the Batmobile will shoot them with a rubber round. I like that shit.
Yeah,
that's the only shit I like.
I was raising my I was shaking my head with this shit. Okay, I understand Batman have this. There's no, I don't kill code. But come on, fam. You got a goddamn tank with a goddamn milligun. I have the motherfuckers in that rubber bullet. Real ass bullets, man. Batman, I was like, Batman, you full of shit. Come on, man. Even I know you. Come on, dude.
Yeah, he might go ahead and start killing like the Joker said he would. Because that's kind of the reference. That was kind of Frank Miller vibe. Because Frank Miller made it with Batman Dark Knight Returns. He's using that big old tank, but the mutants are laughing. Well, the main mutant's like, "Ha! You won't even kill because you're using rubber." You know, so it's like,
yeah.
Dude, Batman killed a lot in Arkham Knight. I was like, because I was playing the game. I played the game. I was playing the story mode again, and it's like it's okay, whatever. Because I brought that game so before PS4. That's the reason why I got a PS4 because I played the game.
I have it on my PC because my PC is a modern.
Yeah. I got this new PC. It's fucking booming. I've got to get all the Dark Knight games. Yeah. Arkham Knight
They're
games.
cheap on Steam, man. You can get them.
I know. That's where I go. I go on Steam.
But like, my favorite game to me in general, and this is me in general, I prefer Arkham Asylum, bro. That Arkham Asylum to me is probably one of the best Batman games of all time, bro. I'm saying that right now because to me, what I loved about Arkham Asylum, it was so condensed. Like the story felt like a Batman. It felt like you was watching a Batman animated series episode. Like
I do like that, but I like the new gameplay features that are in Arkham Knight. Though I gotta say, I don't like the tank shit, but I like the fear takedowns because that feels straight like Batman because he can take down 5 guys and one quick movement and before they can shoot him. So that I like that.
Well, no filter. Like the Arkham Asylum game was a horror story. You were in Dracula's castle, man. You were trapped in that shit. And then like all the Easter eggs and stuff. They had like Calendar Man and stuff like that. He'd be talking like Steve Hoka. It's Thursday, July 25th, you know, and shit like that. And you were like, wow. And then you go down to the sewers underneath it and stuff, and Killer Croc is there and things. Great game, great writing, killer source material. Loved it.
Yeah, man. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's sad a video game can get the fucking source material right, but the comic book movies and the comics can't get it right. Like it's like I talk about it all the time. It's like for me, it's like that's what I'm saying. Arkham. Well, people, I don't know this is going off topic, but like the only thing I hate about Arkham Knight was Batmobile. It was like it got tiring after a while. Like when you first get in that shit, it was bad like a motherfucker. But when you drive that car around, and it's like for me because I spent most of flying over the city because I actually wanted to feel like Batman, like because I felt like it's cool to have Batmobile, but you know I want to jump out of the car and beat shit out of 20 thugs and shit, you know, whatever. But like when I go back to what I was saying before, like the Arkham series, the games, those games got Batman down packed to the T. The fucking combat, you know, the fucking him jumping through the grates and shit like he does in Batman the Animated Series and the fucking in any type of medium that he has. Like that's what I'm talking about, being accurate to the source material and let the character be what he was. Like the whole idea, like I think there was one side mission. I'm pretty sure you haven't played the game yet. Armchair, did you play the side missions where you did like we had to play them? What is it? Killer Croc. It was Killer Croc.
Oh yeah, I played the fuck out. I got 100% of every Batman game made, even shitty Origins. I've got 100%. That's how much of a fan I am. So.
Don't get me started on Origins, bro. Fuck that.
It's shitty. I'm just saying, I played even the bad ones. I played even the bad ones. As a kid, I played even Dark Tomorrow, man.
The only thing I liked about Origin was that Deathstroke battle, bro. That motherfucker.
I like playing as Deathstroke too. You get to play as him, but it's not as good, not that good, because you're not really. I don't think he's not killing for some reason. It's not like when you play as Red Hood in Arkham Knight, you can actually kill. Yeah, you actually can use your hand cannon. You can actually use a Jericho's 9.54, I think.
Right.
So you can use your Jerichos and lethally kill. You can break their necks, kill them, pistol whip them to death, shoot them. He has a shoot 'em takedown, so it's like you can just pull up the guns and shoot them. But the whole thing about it's like why Batman doesn't use guns. As soon as you shoot them, even if you're in Predator mode, they know where the fuck you are. So you gotta run. Those hand cannons are loud.
But like, I'll ask you guys one question about Arkham Knight. You think just Todd had every right to become Arkham Knight and do what he did to Batman?
That's fucked up. The whole thing, Jason Todd's really doing And he's even and he's a villain, really, because he's like, he had no right to do that shit because he's fucked up because when he comes up the Lazarus pit, he's all fucked up in the head.
Yeah, well, I agree with Armchair on that one for sure. Yeah.
I mean,
like comics, man.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about me, here's the thing to me, man, because I always say this one thing I always say about Batman. I like Red Hood because Red Hood's not like the other Robins. Well, don't get me wrong, Tim Drake is my favorite Robin, and Dick Grayson, and I'll probably say then I say Jason Todd, because Jason Todd is one of those characters just like me. But to me, I feel like to me in general, Arkham Knight, when he was talking to him, he was like, man, when I died, you didn't go look for me. And the Batman was looking at his face like he ain't really saying nothing towards him. I'm like, in a way, look, I said, just Todd, this is for me, man, I may be sound with the villain here, but I was looking at Jason Todd, I was like, fam, I understand, but he thought you was dead. So I can kind of understand you come from a person dead, the person been dead for so long. You're like, well, this person been dead, so whatever. But when I looked at Arkham Knight, I was like, yeah, man, you were just doing, man, like you did this all to get back at Batman just because he wasn't looking for you, fam. I'm like, yeah, man, you on some bullshit. You about to done destroy half a damn city because fucking Batman in search for you and shit, dude. What the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
Yeah, when you watch the Red Hood movie, you're like, Red Hood is so full of shit because Batman is like just he won't kill because he doesn't want to become like the criminals. He's fighting and shit, and he's all like, you should just kill him. And it's like, but I understand where he's coming from. You see, but I see both sides clearly, right? Yeah. That classic argument. Even Daredevil season 2 did that classic argument. The nutcase that just kills him, or this hero that's like, yo, this is fucked up. I'm not gonna go down the anti-hero villain path and just kill everybody because I'm not God. I can't judge people like that and shit. Even the fuck ups like Joker and shit. It's like, but I understand. But I agree with kind of Punisher with like a villain like Kingpin. Man, you just gotta kill him.
Yeah, man. I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like that, but that's what I was saying before. Like when you look at the whole idea when he's talking to somebody, when he's talking to who the fuck he's talking to, when Punisher was talking to Daredevil on the rooftop, and he's like, yeah, man, it's like man, you got the. I love that fucking saying, dude. That was some dope ass shit. What he said, he was like, look. You hit them, they get back up. You hit them, they get back up. I hit them and stay down. I was like, hell, fucking yeah, nigga. God damn, motherfucking savage, man.
You know what, Red? You hit them, they get back up. I hit them, they stay down. It's permanent.
That motherfucker was savage, man. Like you can't tell me, dude. You can't tell me, man. I love that quote, bro. That shit was some deep ass shit. I'm like, God damn, that motherfucker savage as hell. Then he grabbed that fucking assault rifle and shit with the grenade launcher, blew the bikes up. I'm like, hey,
yeah.
John Bernthal, you got
ass kicked though. The mob like captured his ass pretty damn quick, but Daredevil had to save his ass. But then he just escaped. But we don't know if he would have made it if Daredevil didn't show up. Like they probably would have just shot his ass.
Yeah, man.
They milked it. It's like always the Punisher was like, "Come on, would already have killed your ass." Even you Special Forces, Army, Ranger, Marine Corps, Search, Special Recon Operations, man, they don't go a fuck about that shit.
Yeah, man. That motherfucker was savage, bro. Like I'm not gonna fucking sit here, bro. I'm not gonna lie. That motherfucker was savage.
Well, he come out his own show, man. So we gotta see how that's gonna turn out. Hopefully it's not as corny as gunfights, because one gunfight was like, it was like the mob would already blast his ass because that carousel scene. I know he's a good shot and all, but damn, the mob would have already just slam blasted him at that point.
That's what I really find. That's what I really find interesting about characters, source materials like Punisher. Like, and that's why I got mad yesterday when fucking Marvel talking about making him the War Machine. I'm like, man, Punisher's an anti-hero. When did this motherfucker put on the goddamn War Machine armor? It make no goddamn sense. What the fuck, man? It's like, and that's the problem. I literally
have a Kevlar. Because he steals the mafia's money, and he has just a Kevlar suit with the Punisher insignia on it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it, man. And he don't have no next. I didn't like that shit when they made him black or when they made him into Frankencastle-Stein. That was some stupid shit. After Wolverine's son killed him, they made him into Frankencastle.
Armchair, that's the problem. They're making too many different universes. They're making too many different iterations of each character.
A lot of the shit
like
616 does, like the main Marvel universe.
They'll make it. They'll 616, right?
They'll change it. I don't. That's the thing. That's the thing I differ for you, Johnny, a little bit, because I don't mind them making weird ass alternate shit as long as they keep that shit separate from the main universe.
Okay.
The main universe should be kind of boring, man.
Yeah,
the main universe is the typical
like
American Pie shit.
Right. Yeah. Marvel Zombies. That's a separate universe. You know, half the universe is zombified, right? So, okay, I'm cool with that. But then they have to have the Ultimate Universe, and they have to have, it's just like, come on, man. The new universe.
I didn't know they had a new one, man.
Well, no, that was back in the 80s. After the Beyonder died, he spawned the new universe where everything was realistic. And you had it failed. It failed after a few years. You had like superhero teams like Kickers Incorporated and Merc and shit like that. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
Oh man,
go ahead, man.
Going back to what Silver Material. How do you guys feel about Marvel going off like you got Marvel, like you have Marvel with Gwenpool, right? You got Deadpool, now you got Gwenpool, or you got Mary Jane Watson. She was supposed to become Iron Man at one time in the comic books. How do you guys feel about goes back to material? How do you guys feel about like taking superhero personas I'm using prime example. You got Steve Rogers, right? Steve Rogers, he's the original Captain America, and they take Sam Wilson, who was Falcon in the comic books way back in the day, and they're making the new Captain America. How do you guys feel about swapping out legacy legendary characters that the first person established, but they put somebody else in it as that mantle? How do you guys feel about that? That goes into material?
If there's a good reason for it and the plot solid, I'm fine.
I don't mind if the Falcon one as much as the Riri one bothers me the more, because Riri is a made-up bullshit character, did not exist, and to try to get black familiar comic readers that don't exist. So that shit, Falcon I understand more than as a temporary, as if Captain America falls, then Falcon or Bucky can maybe take up the mantle just temporarily. But I don't really think that they should just leave it where Cap is dead and he's dead for the most part. Like I don't even like Batman Beyond, man. I really don't even like Batman Beyond because Batman is always Bruce Wayne to me. Hey, what's up, Adam?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Adam.
What up, Adam? So
Adam, hear me or no?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Be right back, man.
Fine.
Right.
So Adam, how you feel about source material? Do you think source material is important? Because are you a creator yourself? Are you a creator yourself?
Yeah, no, I've had a run that I did independently for about 5 years, and I'm taking the next year off to develop an entirely new comic. So because I'm changing up entirely the way my characters are, I got to kind of spend some time back at the drawing board, get used to it again, because I wasn't drawing humans. So I got to get back to drawing people. And I'm going after everything that artists don't like to do because it's difficult. 5-point perspectives in comic, using children as main characters because so many people draw children like shit.
Oh yeah.
But I have no problem with the deviation from source material. I mean, if you talk about Punisher becoming War Machine, you realize Punisher was Captain America for a little bit.
Yeah. But do you think the reason why I'm asking that question from that perspective is that because you creator, I'm a creator, Johnny, he worked in the industry, he worked a couple years in the industry, so Johnny probably tell you a lot more than I can because I'm not in the industry like that. But the reason why I asked you that question is because I'm talking about far as going against. I'm not saying, look, like I said before, if it calls for it, and if you got original idea, like you have an Elseworld story, like if say for instance, I wrote an issue and I decided to do a novel where Batman becomes a killer, right? And I explained it, I'm like, okay, you know what? He basically Batman kills in this time period, but it's an Elseworld story. Like if that's the idea, you actually got a cool complex and he just explains it, or there's times where you may see the issue. I write the novel, and there's a point where Alfred looks at Bruce and say, you know what? He says, I'm not going to watch you become destroyed. I'm not going to sit back and watch you destroy your damn self. I will walk away if you keep on killing. And that would give Batman some moments. You know what? Maybe I should question my motives of how I view and kill people. Maybe I shouldn't use guns. So I think, like you said before, if it calls for the story, like I agree 100% with that. But the reason why I'm, for me, I think, sometimes it's good. I think you just do the source material all the way. But if you have a good idea and you can execute it right, and like Johnny, I'll agree with Johnny with his point, that if you can agree with the point and you can execute it right, to me, that's all that matters. But if it's done wrong, like I look at Riri Williams, done wrong. Like she is a prime example of done wrong. Like she is a fucking forced character. She was forced in there. Like she wasn't doing organically. It's like instead of making her her own character, giving her own persona, which is why I create brand new characters. I create brand new coats. I challenge myself as a creator to create brand new characters because why? I want to test and talent myself. But if I sit there and say, you know what, I'm gonna take Black Arrow and make Black Arrow female, I'm like, yeah, that's dumb as fuck, and we all know that shit will never work. So like, Adam, like for you like when you create a character, do you like if somebody came to you right now and you came up with a character that was an instant hit and you went to Marvel DC, I mean whatever, and you said your character to Marvel DC, you told that it said we've been doing a movie towards them, but what and you had an origin in the comic book and it worked. It was popular. People braced towards it. People loved your character, and you had a director say, "You know what? I don't like this. I don't like this take. I don't like this take. I want to do something different with it." And it goes way off the character, or I want to make. And they have a personality change. Say if your character's a fun, bright character, he goes around saving people, and they make him dark and gritty. He's this brooding person. He don't want to be a hero. He's like, well, fuck it. He's an asshole. He's a reluctant hero. Like, how would you feel about that? Like, would you like embrace it and just like, well, it is adapting the movie, or would you feel like that's going against source material and that we're going against the original intentions of the creation?
Well, there's a lot that has to get thought about there. I mean, you're asking a question, and earlier you're asking about Batman, who has a long history.
Yeah.
But if you take a look at The Walking Dead,
yeah.
which I've watched like 4 episodes of. Okay, so it's not. I don't really watch television. Now that aside, it's very different than the comic.
Yeah.
Incredibly different than the comic.
Yeah.
Is that against source material for them to be very different than the comic?
Well, I mean, I'm not a Walking Dead fan, but I understand where you're coming from, and it's why I like have different opinions. Like I think it's like I agree with you on that point, But like I look at I only watched like a couple of seasons, so I can't really give too much about the show because I don't watch. I'm not into zombie shows like that. But I think
so. I'll say it like this then. I mean, because Johnny would be able to say if he was in the industry. Personally, on mine, I can sell about 2,000 floppies on a new issue of something I do independently. Okay? Now, that doesn't sound like a whole lot. That's not too bad in the independent market. You realize that comics themselves in the industry are selling like 15,000. Right? That comic book readers are not their market anymore. It's a hard reality for you, for then you to take personally, because you're not their market.
Yeah.
TV's their market. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it's become.
Yeah.
But
do you like? I mean, for me, honestly, I like your perspective because I like to add to different opinions. Things.
I mean, I say that I prefer to make floppies. I don't do an online comic. I don't do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like the format.
Me either.
I don't want to dual format what I do. So I do floppy and I deal with it that way. I do all original work. It makes it harder to work. It's a lot harder to work on original content than it is on, taking on what somebody else has already gone through the effort of creating. But with that, again, readers aren't the market.
Yeah.
Go to comic book convention. what is everything that gets advertised about a comic book convention about? Are you on those mailing lists?
Celebrities.
Yeah, it's all on celebrities. If you're on those
Yeah,
mailing lists
yeah.
where they're gearing up for the con, nobody turns and says, "Hey, we got these creators, we have these artists, we have these writers." They don't put any of that out there. They go, "Look at who we got from this show. Look who from this movie is going to be here."
Yeah, true.
We're going to
That
be
is,
debuting, having the new doctor for Doctor Who, and it's going to be a woman, and she's going to be here. That's what they put out there. They don't put out that it's going to be any artist alley. That's in a corner. We're talking about Comic-Con. I remember when Comic-Con was done on card tables in gym.
yeah. And that's why I like your perspective, and I think that I never looked at it that way. I never looked at it that way because for me, because I'm so much of a creator, I think that the industry has, like you said before, that format had deviated from just like I remember because I ain't gonna lie to you, I go to Dragon Con every year. I go to Dragon Con, and I tell you flat out, it's more about the celebrities than anything. Like there's very few, like I see 4 or 5 comic book artists in the Walk of Fame, and like nobody really comes to the table. Like if I see an artist, even if I don't know your work, I'm still interested because I'm like I talk to him. Like I was talking to a guy last year, I forgot his name. He was up and coming, and he was an indie guy, and he like nobody was not paying attention to his work. He's sitting there, he's on the phone. And then I'm asking him, like, man, I was asking him, we're like, man, nice cover, nice comment, look board and everything. Talking to him, we spent like 30 minutes, like 15, 30 minutes talking about his work. He's like, man, yeah, man, I spent like inking and all and stuff like that. It's like, wow, man, it's good to see somebody really passionate about it. But like you said, I agree with you. I think to that point that nowadays it's more about the celebrities. Oh, so like Stan Lee's coming to Dragon Con this year in Atlanta. And it's like, oh my God, just Stan Lee's coming. Like, but for me, it's more like like this year because I'm coming in with the mindset. If I see like they got Jimmy Pardiani for DC. I don't know how he is in real life because I heard some stories about him. He was kind of an asshole, but they got Jimmy Pardiani from DC, and I want to meet him because I'm interested into the genre. I'm interested into comic books. So for me, it's like this year I'm going to take pictures with some celebrities, but like overall, like I have it with a different mindset now for what it is. So. Like, do you think do you think because now that we look at comic book conventions with San Diego Comic-Con and stuff like that, nowadays it's more about the trailers, it's about the big time movies. Do you think the movies are hurting the comic books, or do you think that do you think the movies are helping the comic books?
Well, okay.
But
yeah, like for instance, for me, I was an inker. I was an ink jockey. I did that as a job to pay the bills. So it was, and I got these jobs through people whom I had known in graduate school and through teaching and that social network locally. And they so happened to work with like Dark Horse and, Image and 2000 AD and all these places. And eventually, job by job, I got to have more work. And I was not the one that was out there trying to scope for jobs or anything like that. You guys are actually talking about owning an empire, I guess. You're talking about having your own company, whereas I worked for companies as a journeyman, company to company to company. Yeah. So it's a lot different for me.
I just refuse to work on other people's stuff.
I did. That's all I did.
I'm saying that personally, I just refuse to work on other people's stuff.
Sure.
So I also say that uniquely, I'm in a position that I don't have to. I get to say, no, I do not. But that also means that I get stuck. Like, I work traditional. So making a page takes forever.
Oh, yeah. It does.
Well, so I'm going to be clear. I work traditional. I do use it. So you do all your workout, all your lines, all that stuff in pencil. You put it on. I put it onto the computer. I scan it, put it into a computer. I then go tighten up all of my line work. I make it all much nicer. so that I can print it out. Blue line, I ink it. I ink with a brush. I ink with a brush or a dip pen if it's really tiny dip pen.
Right.
But then I go back into the computer to get in colors because it's way faster to do all your flats and highlights by color. I don't want to do that for somebody else.
I don't blame you. I mean, I don't blame you. And that's how I feel, man. Like I'm at the point in my life where when I was younger, I wanted to be part of Marvel and DC. But like with the way the industry is going, with the way nowadays is more about, you know, the movies and stuff that I want to bring back the essence of writing. You know, I want to where people cared about they actually cared about the literature, they actually cared about the stories, they actually cared about the dialogue, the action, the supporting cast. And I think a lot of times what's missing in today's society, and I'm going to agree with Adam on this point. I think nowadays, like, and I'm pretty sure Johnny, you can relate, talk to speak on more about this. I think nowadays, I think it's the movie. I'm really going deaf about the movies. Even though I think the movies are doing good, and I think it's good that comic book movies are finally getting getting the respect they do. I think comic books, because I have so many friends, and I'm glad I'm able to talk about it more now. But I have so many friends. I tell them all the time, like, oh man, Black Panther's coming out February of 2018. I'm like, man, I might read Black Panther to understand what it is. Man, I don't need to watch I don't need to read the comic books because the movies are there. Like, oh, I watched The Flash and I watched Arrow and never read a Green Arrow comic book before. And they'd be like, oh, but this ain't like the thing in the comic books. Now I like Arrow. To me, I'll say the only time I will say this, I know I did, but I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite. Like Arrow went highly against the source material, and I actually loved it because it felt different. It actually felt grounded and gritty. And it was like, because Green Arrow couldn't fight in the comic books, he can actually fight in the show. So I actually like the fact, this idea that he kind of had a rough journey. He kind of killed a little bit, but he kind of, he didn't kill, and he, he was choosing to inflict behind that point. And that's the only time I say source material. Some people may hate this, some people may love it. I actually loved Arrow. To me, I actually love Arrow. Now season 3 and 4, I can't watch. Those seasons are hard to watch. Season 5 brought it back to me. But I think when you talk about Arrow, that's what I like. And I feel like sometimes source material, like you said, Adam, sometimes going against source material works. But I think sometimes when you deviate so much from the source material, you end up hurting what the character really stands for. Like Superman and Man of Steel. Like, people love Superman and Man of Steel. Like, yes, he may save people, but he didn't do it. He didn't fucking feel happy about it. Like, oh, I fucking hate these powers. It's a burden. And Johnny, I'll ask you one question, and I'll ask you guys a question.
Yeah.
Do you guys hate when you watch comic book movies, like modern day comic book movies nowadays, and you see the reluctant hero? Are you tired of that trope? Or you just feel like, okay, you know what? It adds to the story. Or you just get to the point, just whatever.
Yeah, to me, it's kind of is what it is. There's the reluctant hero is part of the hero's journey trope, or that plot line, where, like Bilbo Baggins, I just want to sit in my hole and smoke weed all day, and then Gandalf says, no, you got to save the world. And makes him go on this mission.
Yeah, if you did away with the trope,
I'm fine with that.
You did away with almost all the comics, though.
Yeah. What, Johnny? What's you say?
Well, no, I mean, like I said, the hero's journey to me is fine. I'm okay with it.
I mean, I'm not saying like it's a trope. I'm talking about the reluctant hero, like the character who's like, he wants to, like, I was talking about, like, I'm gonna use Man of Steel as a prime example for like Man of Steel, right? Man of Steel comes out, and he's that reluctant hero. Like, he don't want to be a hero, but it's like, I mean, he got these powers. It's like I'm using this as a prime example of what I'm talking about, right? I'm using this. I talk about this. Me and Ansha talked about this. Like, I talked about this last night when you left Johnny. It talks about Luke Cage. Like, you take Luke Cage from like Netflix, right? Luke Cage in the show, he's way different. Yes, he's a black man that's bulletproof. He gets powers in prison. That's accurate source material, right? But instead, like, there's a scene where you watch Netflix show when the fucking people are shaking on the Asian couple down, shaking on the Asian Chinese restaurant, and it's sorting people out of the cash, and he comes in there, whatever, and it was like, well, I'll pay you, like, you don't have to pay me to protect you. I do productively. But like, do you think that, like, because it goes back to what I was saying before, when I was reading, I remember being a kid, I remember when I was younger, reading Luke Cage, and he was a hero for hire, right? Basically, they had to pay him to do a job, right? That's what I'm talking about. They're reluctant here. I ain't talking about the one that wants to do a good job, but he has doubt whether he can pull it off or not. I'm talking about the ones that got the power, but they choose not to do anything about it. Like, you got Superman and Man of Steel, right? He saves people, but he don't enjoy it. He's like, well, fuck it, I just find this as a goddamn burden. Like, god damn it, man, I don't want to save nobody. Like that's what I mean. That's what I mean. You know. Go ahead.
Well, I don't mind it. I still see that that's kind of an interesting springboard for any kind of plot. Yeah. Somebody who has been burdened with a superpower, and only that superpower can save the day. Let's say. I don't have a mind. I don't have a problem with that. That's fine. I don't know, Adam. What do you think?
I think your journey is normal. I'm one of those people that I sort of look at it like this. I sort of think of somebody who wants to be a leader.
Yeah.
Okay. And somebody shows up and I want to be the leader of this group. You are definitely.
I don't trust them.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're not the best one for it.
Yeah, true. That is true.
You want it too much. You are not good at being in control. And so if somebody was too embracing of, oh man, I got these powers, so I'm going to just become a great hero now.
God, that'd be a great name for a new superhero, the Wannabe. Everybody calls him the Wannabe. And he just like really wants to be a hero. And he kind of fucking sucks. That'd be great.
Well, like that's what I'm saying. Like, I think, like, for me, like, now I'm starting to see from you guys' perspective. I'm like, because I like different angles. That's why I like to have different opinions on the show, because it kind of look at it differently. But I think the reason why I'm asking these questions is because I feel like it all goes back to source material, and it all goes back how you feel. Some people like, well, it's good to be in front of source material, and it's like, yeah, it's like whatever. But I feel like, to me, because I'm so much of a creator. And even when I write and create my characters, I create them as like, yeah, they start off in reluctant heroes at first. Like my first, like Black Arrow at first. Like there's a moment where he's there's a moment when he comes back. There's a moment when he comes back after he leaves the cult because he was to kill. And you know, the whole time he chooses to walk away from that cult and start a new life. He tells him flat out about, like, you know what, man, he's sitting there, he starts normal life, runs a Fortune 500 company, and for him it's like he always think about his mom, his dad. He's this great guy, but for him it's like he wants to do good. Crime rate.
All right. Let me do a source material to you. I'm going to go off the original source material. I'm going to develop a character, and then you tell me if I'm absolutely wrong. But I'm going to ask one question. I'm going to start with a premise, okay? I'm going to say, what if Jedi are assholes in Star Wars? Okay. What if they're like everybody else? They're assholes, okay? Yoda's a great and powerful warrior, isn't he?
Yep.
I've never seen any others of his species. I'm just assuming he's a part of the flea people from the dog planet, and that all that bouncing around we saw in Attack of the Clones was how they fight. And he's holding on a cane because he's 900 years old. So the one time he gets beat, he runs off. What if, in fact, if you watch, now you take all those movies as canon, which means in the beginning, Jedi fights were amazing.
Yep.
Right? And Luke went and he got trained by Yoda. The greatest joke of all the Jedi. He was an embarrassment. Yeah. That's the reason they had him teach the 5-year-olds how to use the lightsaber.
He was the Wizard of Oz.
So if he was an absolute joke and the Jedis were asshole, and imagine, you can't see my face, but imagine me winking. Oh yeah, great and powerful Jedi, Yoda. Oh yeah, wink, wink. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, you must have. So now go to Vader, who you saw as a young man fighting. You saw how they fought then. Look at him in Return of the Jedi fighting Luke. Saber up, block. Saber up, block. Oh yeah, you've gotten really good. I see you've trained with Master Yoda. So if I go make a whole Star Wars series on the Jedi are assholes and Yoda's the biggest joke, am I going against the source material?
No, you're adding on to it. You're building it.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's no reason and you could also go that same thing. You could go and do Yoda as a young man, just kicking the crap out of everybody. But the thing is, when you say, well, looking at the source material, you get to interpret things.
Yeah.
Like my saying, the Jedi are assholes. They got mind control. That means that, little kids, and some little kids are bullies. There could be a little bully Jedi making others crap themselves.
Yeah, I mean, like, what if Yoda, when he was 100 years old, his little flea people were like, Yoda, get the fuck off our planet. And so he goes into exile for the first time and finds this Jedi stuff and goes, wow, I can do really well here. Like Charles Manson did when he found Ashbury. It's like I found my sweet spot, and he exploits that. I mean, what's to say?
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
yeah. See, now you can't do that. It's owned by Disney, and you're hurting the brand, and yeah, you'll get big time sued. But that aside,
right.
All of that aside, if that's the direction. But my point about source material is you're not going, against source material when you do something like that. So if you take, so we go to Superman's trunks. You prefer Superman with the trunks? I was kind of glad when they got rid of him.
That's true. We can agree.
When they did the new 52, like the new 52 Batman, that he didn't originally have a cape. Alfred was his butler / bodyguard that was former SAS. That's not original. Yeah, that's not original story.
That's true.
Alfred taught him to fight. Alfred gave him the weapon of a cape. I thought that was a great expansion, a great retelling and reimagining of an origin.
Yeah. I mean, you made me look at shit different. Now, damn, made me look at different. Like, now I'm starting to see it, and that's why I'm so glad you came on, man. It's like, damn, you made me look at it now. Like, I'm able to look at it different now and see it like, oh, yeah, man, you got a point. For me, because, I mean, we can agree or disagree with the Superman Trump thing, but, like, but I can respect your opinion, and that's why I like having different opinions on the show, because I feel like it's important that we discuss this, because as content creators, everybody has a different view of what they feel about the source material. Everybody sometimes that stick to it faithfully, so you can adapt it. And like I said before, I think Adam, I like how you think, man. I like how you made me think. That's very rare, and that's love because you made me think about it. But I think that the source material, man, it's tricky, man. For me, I say stick to it, but to me, like I said, I love Arrow, and Arrow goes way off the source material, because Green Arrow did not kill he did kill Prometheus in the comic books in previous 2, so he did kill Prometheus at one time, but he killed Prometheus one time. But I think when you think, this is my opinion, I think so it works for certain things, like the Walking, like the Walking Dead, right? You got the Walking Dead, right? Basically, the comic books is the show is nothing like the comics. All right, that's like their prime example of, all right, you can do it for source material and it works. Same thing with Arrow, or same with whoever. Like, okay, cool. Flash is Flash. Some of this like I understand some of the adapting. I understand it from that perspective. But to me, it's like, I guess we all have different opinions of source material. But like you got, but
here's another way to think of it. And it's not even to say sell out. Sometimes you gotta go ahead and sell your property and move on. Look at The Walking Dead. If that was your content, if that was yours, and they're going to greatly change your content, go look at how many comics he sold before the TV show. You know how much money you make on a comic book as an independent? On a floppy? You make less than $2. You make $2, you're rolling on your floppy.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I'm just talking an individual copy. So when you think right now that there's a lot of major titles from Marvel selling 15,000 copies, that's worldwide. And that's not actually copies sold. That's copies sold to a store.
That's true.
So be an independent and sell copies. If somebody's going to come and buy your material from you, and they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to bastardize it. All right, I'm going to make something new, I guess. Because at some point, you got to be willing to go, you know what? I do need to get paid.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you spend a lot of time by yourself, you know, staring at paper.
You also have to remember, too, the distribution business. For instance, for every issue, those 15,000 copies get sold to comic book stores or retailers, okay? You have to pay back as a publisher, as Marvel or DC, what you don't sell. They tear off the cover. They tear off the cover.
No, they don't. They got to sit on that now. That sits in their shop. They can't send it back.
I'm not sure about that. I mean, like I said, I work mostly in small press and indie myself, but when you have a major distributor like Diamond, I mean, that's part of their policy.
Not in the comic book stores sit on that.
Did they change that?
They sit on that.
Wow.
So if you send them, 20 copies of Squirrel Girl,
right,
and they sell 3,
right,
they're going to sit on 17. They're going to sit on about $1.50 per issue on their shelf,
and they're going to just have to move it
until they can eventually just get rid of it.
Because like with book publishing, say if
that's
you
totally
are
different though.
Yeah,
book
I know.
Yeah, book publishing, they can tear the covers off and send them back.
Right. That's changed. Like in the last 10 years, that's fucked up. Wow. Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
but
they eat that.
Yeah. Yeah. But like Adam, I want you a question since you a creator like myself. Do you think this gonna be a crash? Do you see a crash coming soon for like the comic book industry? Do you see a crash coming soon?
Well, there's been a crash. Again, look at it, like it is already crashed. It's already down. You're just waiting on it to really come back. And I'm saying that because look at the actual number of sales, and then go back and realize that like Iron Man back in World War II was going to be canceled because it was only selling at the end of World War II. Iron Man was going to be canceled because it was only selling 90,000 copies a month.
Yeah.
If you sold 90,000 copies in 1 month of your book, you can write your ticket. You studios are not negotiating with you; they're paying what you want.
Yeah, true.
They're you know what I mean? So as far as that stuff is a crash, that's why I said that they're selling 15, 30. If they're selling 30,000 copies, they're doing really good.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. That is true. Oh wow. So like I mean, the question is kind of related to what I was saying before. Do you think so? To me, do you think independent because I mean to me, you might as well say the crash is already happening. The crash is already happening. Do you think for the future? Do you think a lot of comic book creators like myself, me, yourself, and other mid-houses, other people that create content? Do you think like people just go individual and not join Marvel, DC, and then just say, you know what, I'd rather just risk my mind just being a independent person and just, you know, take a loss that way rather than join a big time major distributor?
Well, I mean, my question is, how are you going to do it?
Yeah, true. That is true. That is true.
See, the tough part becomes a name attached to the market. When you're independent, you still everybody likes to believe that having an independent book now isn't as detrimental as it used to be. It's still as difficult as it was. You've got to be able to answer up for the fact that the major players aren't after you.
Yeah, true.
You know, so it gets thought of like, well, then your content must not be up to Marvel's standards. To pick on Marvel, who's absolutely horrible right now.
Yeah. Adam, can you fix your audio somehow? You really sound underwater.
I'm wondering if it's where I'm at. Hold on. Okay.
So John,
I'm on a wireless headset.
Oh, great. You sound wonderful. You sound good.
Now it's better?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I moved to a new spot.
Oh, yeah, no filter. What were you saying?
I mean, like, do you think, like, I mean, I understand where Adam, you and Johnny, you and Adam coming from is expensive, but I'm saying for the future, I can see independent kind of like rap, like it's kind of like I'm using like I listen to hip hop music as an example, right? A lot of my rappers I listen to a lot of underground hip hop, a lot of underground music. A lot of artists I listen to are highly independent. They don't rely on record labels to distribute their music. Do you think that? And like I said before, yes, I know that the music industry and the comic book industry is two different genres, but like I see in the future, you know, a lot of yes, like I said before, like
yes, but they're also both owned by major media corporations, and you have to get into those.
Yeah, sure.
Take that underground artist, and if a big label came to them and said, "Yeah, we like what you're doing, but now you're going to play the songs we want. You're going to dress how we want." Are they going to change for the paycheck?
Yeah, they would. They're gonna change. They're gonna change.
Sure, they will. Because they want to.
Yeah, go ahead, Johnny. Go ahead.
I'm sorry to get in a really bad echo. Hang on. Let me try to rejoin. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, but I think that is true. Yes, I think the biggest thing that will hinder that, what would truly hinder it, is the fact that we have the big time corporations and record labels and the big conglomerates constantly buying stuff up. So it's like, even if you're an independent person and say if you got a character that's popular and it's like, well, this character is relatable to so and so, and this company has multiple lawyers on speed dial, so you know what, if you don't stop publishing this character, like I go back to I'm probably the episode about it, but I think Shazam, Captain Marvel, he was he was originally before Congress he was Captain Marvel, and by DC was like, well, these superpower he has power similar to Superman, so stop publishing the issue, and the I guess the creators stopped publishing the issues. It was Foster Comics, I think. So Captain Marvel was Foster Comics, and they gave their imprint to DC, and it's like, okay, wow. And I think that's the case, but I think that if people, this is me in general, I think you can't be scared though to do it though. To me, I think you need somebody to take them on though. I think that somebody got to prove a point though. I think that being a creator, I'm a firm believer, like you just need one person, and you just need one creator, whether it's me, whether it's you, Alan, whether it's Stuart, whether a person, you need a person that can challenge you, say, you know what, man, I don't need Marvel nor DC. I don't need you guys. I don't need the big climate or big publishers to say, you know what, to get my characters out there. Even if I have to sell it's like rap, it's like musicians that sell music out their trunk. Like, even if you have to sell $1 issue on the street, like, do you do it? It may take some years for the character to grow up, and yes, you got to work to deal with the comic book comic shop owners. But to me, I think there's ways to get around it besides the big conglomerates. But I mean, there's ways to get around it. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, what you need to find is a backer. You need to find somebody like, for instance, like I said, I was an inker. I rode on coattails. You know, it's like, hey, Johnny, I got a job for you. I'll take it. Boom, and I did. And some of them were really small, independent jobs. Others were larger. But at the same time, if you want to have your own imprint, that's what it's called, an imprint. You know, Black Arrow and Nut Job, and having them in sort of this like kind of a coalition, this independent company, you're gonna need to get some type of financial backing in order not so much to produce but distribute the comics. That's the problem. And I mean, right now it's Diamond. Diamond is it. Or you sell it online. That's it.
Yeah, but like, I mean, yes, I think comic imprints. I think people, for me, I feel like same thing. It's like when people try to say, you know, I'm using comic books to the model thing, right? People say, oh, you need record label. Yes, I think the distribution deal. Like, I think I'm gonna use another rapper I listen to, Chance the Rapper, right? He's independent, but he has Apple. Yes, I mean, Apple's a big conglomerate, so they pay for his distributor, but he still make most of the profits from the album sales. What I mean by
that, he's using the Apple Store.
Yeah, it is true.
Okay,
that is true.
But I would be able to sell my stuff through Amazon.
Yeah, or Lulu.
But, yeah. So the thing is, at that you can say, yeah, okay, well now I'm getting Amazon as my distributorship. But again, you're taking a huge cut from what you're making for doing that.
I mean,
if you want to go really grassroots, you gotta get a web developer to get your own website with a blog and even like YouTube promotional channels and everything like that, and go full on promotion.
Yeah, like this isn't my main channel.
Right.
This isn't my main channel. This isn't like my work I do. I don't actually do in my name. I have another name I use to do my work in. But you know, I've joked at myself because I don't see it happening. But what would I do if Marvel or DC wanted me to draw for them? That would be a hard no. That would be a very hard no.
If you want Marvel or DC to draw for you, you have to be at every frickin' convention, kissing ass, taking names, stepping on heads, and throwing people under the bus.
Yeah, and you have to have the right politics for them.
Oh yeah, and you don't.
Yeah. So the thing is you look at it as a creator and say you want to do your own thing and you want to be independent, and that's all fantastic. But doing that means you know you will make less. And you have to accept that. You will make less. I mean, again, back to Walking Dead. How many did he sell before the TV show? Then he got really picked up. But before that, that was an independent operation.
That's true. That's true.
You know, that was a work of passion. But what happens if that same artist, if DC came or if Marvel came and said, we want you to draw for us, that would be really difficult. We want you to draw for us, but I want you to draw for Marvel and I want you drawing Squirrel Girl.
Well, not only that, Adam, I mean, No Filter is a writer, so he's going to have to write for Squirrel Girl. And that, are you going to do that? I mean, come on.
And see, there's the question you have when you say, that's why I mused myself about if somebody were to actually offer that job, how do you ever get to say no? But if you don't really want to, if that's not ever been your dream.
The only way I could pay my bills was because I had a mercenary attitude. I would ink anybody who would pay me. Fuck you, pay me. Okay, I'll ink you. That's it.
That's true. Yeah. That's the hardest part, though. I mean, and I feel like that's one thing I think pride. I think pride too. Like, how long are you willing to hold out? Are you willing to? And that's why I like doing the series, because it's the question. These are conversations that creators should be having, whether you writing literature, whatever. Especially creating comic book characters, that we need to have this open dialogue about creative stuff like this. And then, Adam, I'm glad you bringing up these conversations up, because I never looked at it that way, because I'm so in my world, like, okay, yeah, but that will be kind of hard. It will be a hard no to say, you know what, no filter, we'll let you write Captain Marvel, even though you may not agree with the idea of social politics, you got to write around whatever so and so to get paid. I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to write it, but it's like, yeah, and I'm seeing it from your perspective. I'm seeing it from you guys' perspective. I'm seeing it from you guys' perspective, how that will be a hard no. And I think, but I think because maybe because I feel differently. I just think that the way the industry is a hard. Yeah, you gotta get in the industry. The first thing you gotta make is get in the industry and make a name for yourself. Yeah, you may got write shit characters to get to get to the top, but eventually you'll rise up through the ranks. But I think the reason why I do the series and the reason why it's conversations is because of conversations like this. And it needs to be talked about. And I think sometimes when we talk about creating series, we talk about creating things, a lot of the times, yeah, it's cool to talk about creations, but what happens when a publisher or distributor, a publisher does come to you, whether it's music, whether it's art, whether it's comic books, or your character, and it's your lifetime work, this is your lifetime savings, and say, we'll pay you whatever so for your character. How do you turn that down? And I'm seeing it from your perspective now. But I think, I don't know. I think it's a tough sell, though. I mean, it's a highly tough sell. You guys, like Adam, could you, like, Adam, if DC came to you, Phil Care offered to offer you money for your character, would you take it? Because this is the question. Go ahead.
I would basically look at it as I'd sell it and abandon and move on.
That's true.
I wouldn't want to work on it for somebody else.
That's true. That's true.
I'd be willing to sell it, get my royalties, and move on.
Yeah, it's like what John Carpenter did with Michael Myers. He's like, okay, you can have Halloween. There you go. I'm not touching it ever again, but I need to reap the royalties, and he did. And they turned Halloween into shit. Okay. And that's exactly what Adam is talking about. Whereas yeah. I'm on the other end. I was on the other end. I was just like, yeah, you have something that pays, I will ink it and make it ready for print. I don't care. Pay me. So
like, I don't ask you a question, Johnny, because you was an inker. I'm so glad you're talking about this now. Do you think as an inker, like were there jobs with this character you did want to ink? Because I'm pretty sure you grew up reading comic books for a very long time.
Fuck yeah, I did.
Yeah, and there was characters like, well, there's times where they would come in and be like, well, we give like this Squirrel is this runner's character. They say for Squirrel is this the time you was an inker, and they say, well, what Marvel comes to you say, well, can you ink Squirrel Girl for us? And you'd be like, what the fuck? Well, you gonna say that out loud, but I'm saying, like, really, you said
I did get to ink a really great job for Dark Horse and another one for Kitchen Sink, and
go ahead.
Yeah, well, and that was wonderful because they had seen some of my work that I had done for 2000 AD, and I had normally done mostly horror comics, okay. And I just have that inking style that's good for it. And those were jobs that they needed really quick, and I got paid really well, and I had to do it really quickly, and I did it, and that was it. But when you are an inker, you're a journeyman, so you're going to have to be able to fit that in your schedule and take whatever you can to keep everything going. And you have to remember one thing: you're only as good as your last job.
Oh yeah.
So if you don't deliver in time and do it well, they're not going to ask you back.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and you said you did a lot of independent stuff.
Oh yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I liked
So
it. I liked a lot of that stuff. A lot of stuff out of the UK. Yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say, if you've done a lot of independent, looking at how, and I'm an independent, looking at how the independent market is now, you did a lot of content you didn't like.
Well, yeah, back in the 2000s when it was like having this like hipster heyday. Yeah. I never had to really beg for work. It would just be like I'd have a contact who was like, Johnny, we got another job. I'm like, okay, here we go. I mean, I would work 10 hours a night on weekends.
Yeah. What were you getting paid? Like $50 a page as an inker?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, or even lower, sometimes 35. I didn't care.
No, I know, but it's like when people realize how much time goes into that.
Sometimes it didn't matter exactly, and here's where like my soul and my heart came into it. If they could only pay 35, but it was a great artist, a great penciler with a really good story, I'd do it.
Yeah, no. So see, I have a job where I get to support my life with, so I get to do my art as something I enjoy, which is why I don't have to rely on it for a living. But
Right.
if you're an inker and you get $50 a day or $50 a page,
right?
It can. The book I'm writing my script on now, what I specifically want, an inker would hate. They could never do an independent page at $50 a page for me, because I'm going to be I'm going after high detail. I'm going after what doesn't get done anymore. You know.
I had a lot of high detail jobs. I mean, when you have, if you're doing like a horror comic, it is nothing but atmosphere. And you were just, you got to get into that. I mean, cross hatching, it's nuts. And you got to get that light down right. And you also have to make it consistent panel per panel per panel.
Yeah. Was it?
Yeah,
Was it that?
Pardon me?
Was it? It was. I mean, cause I know I have a friend. I had a friend who was an inker. He was like, man, he had to quit because he was like, man, that shit fucking hard as hell. Like he says,
yeah, it is hard as hell.
He said, you think writers got it bad? This magic ink, you got to ink all that.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, sometimes I would get pencils that were like stick figures, and I actually had to draw the fucking thing. Other times they were really, well developed, and it wasn't tracing, but I did have to, I didn't have as much authorship for it, I guess. So it just depends on who supplies you with what. There were a couple of jobs where I was given such scant penciling. I was like, don't waste my fucking time. I don't do this. I'm not drawing this for you. And this is not enough. Fuck you.
Yeah, see, when I do my stuff, I try to do really tight pencils.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I ink, I try to move with fast hands when I'm inking, because
you have to use a fast hands, because that's what people see.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like when I pencil and I'm making it tighter, it feels like it gets stiffer. So when I go to ink, if I purposely just try to move much faster through everything, not just move fast, but really like I'm drawing it the first time.
Oh yeah, you can't do that. No. Right.
So I try to go as fast as I can on the inking part, because I feel like it brings the life back that was originally there in constructing my pen.
Like, okay, when I would do that, I had been critiqued as that my work had looked like old English woodcuts, and they liked that. They liked the fact that it was gritty. And it was like, they said, it was S. Clay Wilson meets Old English woodcuts. I was like, yeah, And I think that was like I think that was just part of the reproduction system. Because when I was looking at the original copy boards, I was like, I don't think it looks like Old English woodcut, but okay, And yeah, there is a certain speed and immediacy that an inker can employ to make your reading experience look like it was immediate, that it was artistic. At the same time, you might have a different company that says it's got to look like this method.
God damn. Woo. So
Yeah,
Johnny,
I mean, yeah.
Well, you're getting like what No Filter's hearing is the difference between you can ink with microns, you can ink with technical, and your lines are going to be perfect the same if that's what you want. But if you want to have bold, flaring lines where you need them,
you got to go crow quill.
you got to be willing. And I do a lot with a brush pen.
And a brush, yeah.
Yeah, because it's so responsive. So, you know.
Yeah, because it's like real handwriting. And I mean, people love that. People still love that. I mean,
it's funny because I didn't think about it when I go to start doing colors. So I scan in and then I go to Photoshop.
Right.
And everybody goes into Photoshop and they connect their lines so that they've got closed spaces for flat. I don't close my line because I can just go around with my brush and basically on a new layer create my flat.
Yeah, you can do that as well. Yeah, and because that
so
way it has that natural bleed to it. Yeah. That natural bleed to it, like you fucking painted it. You know?
Well,
and that's great.
I want it to show that it's done by hand.
Sure, of course you do.
You know, I want to be able to get done and say, like, I basically draw it by hand. I bring it into the computer to tighten it up and do glue line. I print it out onto Bristol to do ink. I scan it back in to do color.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I want the fact that stuff's done by hand to show.
And Adam, I totally agree with you. I think that needs to be naturalistic. It doesn't need to be. I mean, what company out there really looks mechanized?
Marvel.
Well, Marvel. Yeah, exactly.
Marvel looks like they're using the 3D programs, the Google Sketch.
Yeah, like they printed it out in an HP printer. It's just like I paid for this.
If you've never played with that No Filter, go download Google Sketch.
It's so dumb.
And build a room. You don't have to be a computer programmer to do it. Build a room and then go look at an interior or an exterior. It doesn't matter. Go look at the background of any Marvel panel right now. Any panel in one of their comic books.
You know what they're doing?
And make it.
They're also using the 3D furniture and 3D backdrops in Manga Studio, and it's the same thing as Google Sketch. I mean, it's so dumb a woman can use it. I'm sorry, but it's so true, dude. It looks like shit. It looks like cut and paste backgrounds. It's awful. Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally right, Adam.
So Johnny, what made you want to quit? Like, what made you want to stop being an inker? Like, was it stressful or something?
Well, oh God, there were so many different reasons. I mean, first of all, the person whom I had worked with, he went total SJW, and I didn't agree with his politics. And he started getting me jobs that I could not stand. Secondly, Disney bought Marvel. Harlan Ellison fucked Fantagraphics. So he destroyed the indie comic scene. And then I also went back to school for paralegal, and I was like, okay, you know, I'm gonna go to a different. I'm gonna go to a different industry because this is just driving me completely nuts. And
so I'll ask you a question. When Disney brought Marvel, because I'm pretty sure he was doing inker jobs for Marvel. When Disney brought Marvel, what did they tell you after when Disney bought Marvel? Did the format change, or was more strict with it now, or
Yeah. They really closed a lot of different avenues for people to get jobs. So little guys like myself,
fuck you, Disney.
Fuck them. they wouldn't. It trickled down to where I wasn't able to get as much work, and then on top of that, the person whom I had worked with so much and who was my main contact at getting jobs turned into somebody that was politically unaligned with myself because of his fucking wife. So, like they say, never throw a bitch in it.
Yeah. Well, and all the assistant editors are now women.
Oh yeah, like 80% of them. 80%.
So no wonder the comments shit. No wonder the comments shit.
My stuff's not winning any awards, so I'm not giving anything away here.
Okay.
When I put my comic out, it looks like it's made by a team. I've got an editor, I've got an assistant editor, I've got a writer, I've got every job there is listed and credited. You know how many people work on that book? Me. But one of the things that does help is if you're not a solo act, if somebody can look at your book and say, man, look at all the people that work on this thing. So when you're a full crew, it carries more weight than if you're an individual. So I decided Canon Movies did this at one point. They edited a film themselves, and then they just made up somebody. And I was like, I can do that. I just made up a bunch of names.
Golan Globus. Yeah, the Canon Films. They did that with they did that with Rambo. They were an Israeli team called Golan and Globus. And it was like 5 guys, and they fucking made Rambo.
So the thing,
I'm not kidding.
So if you turn around and you say, here's my writer, my editor, you list all these jobs, and you list people who aren't even normally credited. Your colors aren't normally credited. Your flat people aren't normally credited. Credit them.
Yeah.
The more names that are on it as an independent, the better it is. It doesn't matter that they're all me.
Yeah.
And if it made it big and somebody was, oh, look at this, and that's that. Well, we want to hire your writer, not your artist. Oh, okay.
Adam's totally right about that too, because like on some of these jobs that I did, they had me do like graphic design for it. So I would create a phony name named Ryan Dolan, who would be the graphic designer, but it was my dumb ass, and they loved that. They loved that.
I'm glad I'm glad you guys give me some info tips. I'm taking this. I'm taking this place to heart, man. God damn, man.
Yeah, like I didn't know you could be the writer, and you could also be the penciler. The penciler could be like Joe Bag of Donuts or some shit.
I did not know that 80% of editor assistants females.
More, probably more by now.
Start reading those names. Start reading those names on the comics you pick up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you this: if you're as an independent, if you are a writer and not artist, I would recommend one of 2 things. Okay, learn to draw.
Mm-hmm. I'm learning how to do that now. I'm learning how to do that now. I'm learning how to draw now.
Or you have to hire people for your project, because the writer is the hardest job to get.
Ooh.
Yeah, because you know what? You're the top of the pyramid. You're the brainchild of the book. That's the problem.
And on top of that, like research, and I stumbled onto this in writing mine. I used to write, and basically I would write by thumbnail.
Mm-hmm.
I would give myself a very rough thumbnail with notes next to it.
Yeah.
And then I would put my whole page together to look at its flow. And what happens is, if you have any idea how many, because so when you write pages, you're writing page 1, panel 1. This person says this, or this person does that, and this response in this way. You got to set time of day, location. It's a huge page. You got to put a lot of information into it.
Oh, thank
because
God.
the artist may be disconnected from you. You might have emailed your script to somebody, and they have to. I mean, if I was drawing somebody else's stuff, there would be no reason I couldn't get on the phone and say, explain this to me, what's going on with here, show me that, tell me about that. But the more you can put in, the better you can make it. But as a writer, you're going to need to actually hire a team, sort of by parts. So if you were to make a single comic script, okay, and then go hire an artist to do all of your work, all of your artwork, and then hire an inker when you're ready for an inker, and then hire someone to do your colors. Now you can probably get someone to do all the colors, flats and highlights, as one shot. But as a writer, you have to have a finished, produced, done thing for them to see.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I'm learning. I'm sitting back learning. Hey, thank you, man. I could take this advice to heart, man. Because, man, I think it would be the artist that would be the hardest part, the writer, man. Man, I'm glad y'all. This is why I did. Man. That's what I did. But
I've had to completely rewrite pages because the layout of the page wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to work visually where the eye had a true natural flow. So I had to change parts in order to create the flow that I needed on that page.
Yeah, they really care about like eye flow, story flow, and plot shot. And if you don't have that kind of plot shot where the reader can easily, like a dummy, like a dimwit, figure out what's happening from panel to panel, you're out of there.
So it's kind of like like I'm just using this high school. I'm just using as a prime example. So say if it's like you got the main character, you have the main character, the main hero, and the villain is like doing like a extortion scheme, like this extortion scheme, right? He's like he's shaking down businesses to pay protection right. So you gotta spend the first how many chapters should you have technically to write a whole issue, like one issue? Because I use 6, because I use 6 to tell a better story, because I actually tend to tell it.
I would pare it down to 3 acts.
3?
Beginning, middle, and end. That's it. Like classical English. I mean, that's how you should probably do it.
For comic books, I would lead you towards 5 or 6 issues so that it could go towards a trade.
In 3 acts each issue. I guess if that's what you're asking, like per issue, 3 acts. And then, have a 6-issue story arc. 3 plus 3.
The reason why I asked you guys that question, maybe because this is how I taught myself, and I learned how to tell. I do chapters 1 through 6 because I spend the first 2 chapters doing something based off to, they could be a charity event, and then I spend chapter 3, 4, 5, and 6 carrying the plot, focus on the villain, the hero motivation, action get going. And we focus on really the main brunt of the issue. So like it may be like my character Black Arrow, he's like I'm on issue 20 now, the other main character. He gets the key to the city, and then I spend chapter 3, 4, 5, and 6 getting the villain. I'm not gonna give the villain name because it's a real good villain name, a nickname. I'm not gonna tell his name out this week, it's still my shit, but like that's how I do it, because I feel like that's how I can do it. Like I'm gonna try doing 3 chapters. I'm gonna take that advice to heart, because I do take advice and I actually try to for my writing skills. But like, so you said, go ahead and
finish.
Yeah. But like that's how I taught myself. I mean, because for me, I did chapters 1 through 6. I know. Well, I thought that's a lot of chapters to be put in a chat in one book, but I do it that way so I could tell a better story. Because I feel like I wouldn't be able to get it. Like I won't be able to do it in 3 chapters. I mean, maybe if I would work for a company, I probably have to do it that way. But that's why I think that's why the series is so important, man. Because I want to know stuff like this, and people should know stuff like this because.
So,
Yeah, go
what
ahead.
you need to look at.
Mm-hmm.
This is the hard part in writing a story.
Mm-hmm.
For me, every issue has to stand by itself. It's a part of its whole thing.
Yeah.
But an individual floppy has to stand entirely in itself.
Yes.
It can't.
It's called being self-contained.
Yeah, because if it's not, if you had to have read issue 1 and 2 to get issue 3, I might lose you as a reader. That's brand new. You showed up at the con and you saw the artwork on issue 3, and you're better by issue 3 than you were on 1. No matter how good you are, by your 10th issue, you look way better than you did your first issue. You just get better at that anatomy. And so each issue needs to be independent. And now so we're going to use Superman as an example. You like Superman, so we'll use him as you like Batman, but you like the old Superman. Take the old Superman. The old Superman in a comic, you basically you need to start with an action. Right? You start with an action. Now it's related to the last comic. It picks up off the last comic. So the last comic ends in a cliffhanger. So you end on a hanger. So that you can start your next book on action.
Fresh.
That beginning action, you're gonna rehash like soap operas. Superman's getting shot, and he's like, "Don't you know I'm bulletproof?" Of course, everybody knows he's bulletproof, but not to somebody who's never read a comic, and that's their first one. So you have to constantly be able to re-explain briefly what their ability is.
I like in one panel.
Who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not do the freaking novel at the beginning that they're sometimes doing. But you need to be able to start with action, so you see, man, look at this person. And they hit him with a car, and it didn't even bother him, and they shot him with a laser, and it only slowed him down, but then he got fast again. And then he's able to, don't they realize I'm the son of Krypton, and I'm indestructible?
Yeah, and you have to reiterate that from issue to issue. Like, okay, Filter, if you take Black Arrow and say, I'm going to make a graphic novel, well...
Oh, no, I don't do I do one.
Okay.
I'm like, I took like Adam, like I do that. That's what I typically do. But how I do it, how I do it the same way. I really explain it. Like how I do it. This is why I like to do it because I'm more of a heart-to-heart moment. I like character development. I want people to grow with the character outside of the costume. And I agree with action. Like I 100%. That's why I pump the action up in the 3rd chapter because I want people to be like, okay, yeah, it's building up to it. But what I technically do is if it's a two issue story arc. It's not a story arc, two issue event. And what I technically do is like, say for instance, it may be like it may be a mob boss. He may be doing like he may be struggling illegal money.
Drug deal.
Yeah, like counterfeit money. He may be doing a counterfeit operation, and the cops trying to shut him down. And I may send Black Arrow's trying to get the stop to do this counterfeit operation. I do it and I leave a on a cliffhanger, and I start off where it's at. I leave where the last issue left off at, continue with action, and I go back to it and basically do that, and then I go to fresh new issue, fresh new start with a different storyline. So I do it.
Okay. That's the good mindset because there's two things, especially if you want to get into diamond distribution. Do not do a pinup. Yeah. Don't show them a pinup and don't show them a graphic novel. Yeah. Show them something in between.
Yeah.
I haven't even tried searching, going after that kind of stuff.
Well, sure, exactly. But I mean,
I like where I'm at.
Right. I see. Like it's information like this is so important for me because I'm noticing now I know what now I need. I'm writing this stuff down, guys. So I'm writing it down.
Yeah, good. Yeah, you should. I mean, there are you go to a Comic-Con and there's all these hopeful artists that are like showing like pencilers, okay, and they're showing these awesome posters, these pinups of like Catwoman, and she's just got her tits ripping out of the fucking costume and everything. It looks great, but it's like, okay, well, what does she do except have ripping titties? Or, you know, you have that person who is an auteur, like, I am an artiste, and here's my graphic novel. They don't want to see that either.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, yeah, I think for me, how I taught myself, because I was a shit writer in the beginning, because I was a terrible writer. Like I had a hard time with story structure. Like I wasn't so bad where I could not do it. I was not focused enough to do it. But like the more older I got, the more start mature things I start going through, the more I start just telling their stories. But Adam, man, I'm glad you guys told me. I'm glad now I know what to do. Now I'm gonna look at a story. I'm gonna try to do it in 3 chapters and see can I do it. And if I can't do it in my 3 chapters, I'm gonna do it my way. And that's why I try to say to me, if I ever come across some money at the lottery, I would have my own distribution service and my own publishing service, and just like in the distribution service. But
you don't need to win the lottery to have that going on. What you need to do is actually get a team of people that are actually behind distributing you. They don't have to be rich. They just need to be tech savvy.
Yeah. And it's like, for me,
there will have to be, you know, there will have to be an internet presence.
And when you do your, like, when I do my rough writing, I'm sorry, I'm just stuck on, you're wanting to write.
Yeah.
When I do my first write-throughs, my comic would be all dialogue if I did it, because it's so much easier to write dialogue. And then I go back and I start pulling my goal, and the day I hit this, I quit. My goal is under 50 printed words in a comic.
But you know what, like
the day I can do that under 50 printed words in a comic, I'm done, because I'll never do better.
But you know what, Adam, I'm the same way. I thought my 2 greatest strengths as a writer, I'm good at character development, dialogue, building relationships, and then action. I'm good at I can do all 4 of those things in one issue. I can do it real good, and I do it that way because I feel like in comic books they did it back old comic books back in the day where you grew with the character and you related to them. Where comic books nowadays action, and I agree with 100% with you guys that if you want to grab a new reader, you gotta pump up the action. But I feel like that's what's hurting the industry. It's a business model. It works to see if you want to sell it. But to me, I want people to grow with the character. Be like, okay, wow, this character, he was like one of my characters, an irresponsible rich kid. Like one of my characters, I'm not gonna say the character name, but you know, he's an irresponsible rich kid who's a degenerate fuck up. And when he becomes a superhero, he learns responsibility while being a hero. So it's like not the reluctant hero. He was selfish at first, and then he learns how. It's kind of like he learns how to become it by becoming his own hero. And what I mean by that is that for me is that he starts off as a rich kid. Now I'm on issue 100 of this character. I got 100 issues of this character, and I'm like, wow, this character really grew beyond that time when I first written him when he was first written, and now he is this, you know, responsible person, and people, the city starts to finally embrace him as that hero. But I'm gonna take this advice to heart, and I don't know how long. Yeah, I'm gonna take this advice to heart, guys.
We are so happy to give you this advice for absolutely free. Because you know we care about you, and we care about Black Arrow, and we care about your career.
Yeah, I'm so glad you guys told me this, because I'm taking this advice to heart, man. Because now I know what to do, and I'm gonna take some of this advice. And you guys, man, I don't know how long we're doing the stream. We'll have to end the stream now, but guys, it's been fun. This stream, man, this is probably one of the best episodes ever.
Great. Well, Adam helped the big time.
Adam, and you allowed anytime on the show, man. Like if you want to come on and discuss comic books, whatever, dude, like you can, cool. Like you help, yeah, you help, dude. Like you really did help.
Yeah, you know what? I would love to come on the next stream, and Adam, I hope you do too. Too bad Stuart couldn't come on tonight, but that's great. You know, I was trying to get Stuart. I was trying to find Stuart. I guess he's been busy or something. He's busy. He'll be around. But I'll tell you what, like maybe we could do a creator's block about distribution, like about the business and get the motherfucker out there. I know that'll be down the road, but yeah.
I have two upcoming episodes of Crazy Block. The distribution of copyrights and the distribution of copyrights.
Okay.
Yeah, those two. Yeah, because we're getting into now we're getting into the nitty gritty of what creators need to know about whatever industry they're getting into, especially comic books, that copyrights infringements. You know what you need to be careful for when you create a character. Make sure the character's not similar to another character, so you won't get sued. So
I am a certificated paralegal. I can't give you legal advice, but I can tell you about the law, so that'll help.
Yeah, and copyright's a whole lot easier than people think.
Yeah, it is.
I remember when I was I was a very inexperienced creator at the time, but I was on this creating blog. I was on this basically like I'm not gonna say what state I'm in, but like the state I'm in, and basically it was like $800. It was mad expensive at the time. This was like I was like 21, 23 at the time. And I was trying to get my first character copyrighted. This before I was very inexperienced. I didn't know what I was doing. And I was like, man, there's much because I was saving up money to get this character copyrighted, and I ended up doing some dumb shit. I ended up spending it on a damn chicken, which is fucked up, which is also okay. Man, I was pissed off when I did that shit. I was like, God damn it, man, I could save that money. I actually got some shit saved up, man. But like when I was talking about this, I was like, I learned that copyright. It was like, man, there's much cheaper copyrights out there. You go through LegalZoom, you go through so many other things to get your character copyright.
Yeah, go ahead. I don't copyright anything. I might put it this way. I'm going to rephrase that. I don't go through the copyright paperwork process for anything. Mm. I never do. It's not worth it. You're going to spend a ton of money to put out all this information to get your paper copyright. But the reality is, once you create it, it is copyright.
Yeah, all you have to do is mail it to yourself.
No, that doesn't hold up. But that doesn't hold up. That doesn't do anything for you. But if I create something, then publish it.
Once it's published,
it doesn't matter if you publish it through Amazon. But the only reason I say publish it, technically, the moment I create a character on paper, that's copyright. That's mine.
Yeah.
It's the moment of actual creation. It's copyright. But the way I can protect that copyright is by publishing it. Because now I have a date of publication.
Wow. Hey, Adam, man, you just bro, you brought some knowledge to the show, man. So the stuff I'm creating now is technically copyrighted.
Well, it's got to be published.
So here's the thing. Legally, technically, it is copyrighted. You created it onto paper. Yeah. However, what if you left your notebook at the airport and somebody else picked it up, said, "Oh, I love this. I'm going to do it." You have no way to prove origin. Okay?
Oh yeah, true.
So unless you had all the metadata, all of the actual development that went into creating what's in that, but that's going to be a really hard uphill fight for you. But if you took that information and published it, even to something that's never going to sell a single copy, the moment it's published, you have a publication date. Now you have a tangible to argue.
Okay, well, there's a little bit of a gray area about that too. Like, for instance, if I got on a podcast and said, "Hey, No Filter, I'm going to start a podcast called MGTOWs at Midnight," and then another MGTOW said, and I never did anything with it, but another MGTOW went and actually podcasted and published, even online, MGTOWs at Midnight, I would have no case against him. Okay?
Yeah, because that's in conversation.
Right.
Yeah. So if you're sitting if the three of us are having this discussion and we are developing,
and there's a bunch of people right now listening to it too. So
yeah, and if they're just faster and get it out, and they steal everything that the three of us work on, it's there. because all we have is a conversation. That's not a tangible.
Right. Not even if you saved this podcast and posted it on there, it was still not MGTOWs at midnight. I just said, hey, I want to have MGTOWs at midnight. And then, I don't know, Traversable says, hey, MGTOWs at midnight. You know what I mean?
But Ted, we got
zero
viewers, really. Yeah, 0 viewers. So Ted,
but still, I mean, either way, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But
and all that aside, the whole point is, like, I sketch in my sketchbook every day. Every time I actually am sketching, it's copyright.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. Which also means when you're doing fan art, you are violating somebody. But is that, so going, not worrying about that part, but when you realize that when you create something new and it's tangible, you can actually physically hand it to somebody, then you have a copyright. The thing is what you want to try and create is some sort of, I'm going to call it a third party date. The third party is that publisher.
Right. There you go.
And it doesn't matter if it's independent. So if I take my comic and I independently publish it, I have them print it and then they send it to me.
It is solid.
Has a publication date. Yeah, I am protected. If DC turned around and basically recreated my character, I would tell a character, wait till it's the next biggest thing, then come out.
No filter. Even if you publish that and pumped it out of your HP printer, there's a timestamp there that said, "Yeah, this came out from me."
Wow.
So and every one of these are built with that.
I'm so glad you guys gave me this. Dude, I got so many great ideas, dude. I have so many, I have what you call it, envelopes of like all my genius ideas in the envelope. Like envelopes, like I got stamp date, time on everything. So I was like, oh shit. When I get these things published,
I would keep doing that.
I do that. And that's why I tell people, when you create, always create multiple copies of it, because you never know what might happen. Like I have 10 to 20 photos, all my material for my characters I created.
Here's the thing. Okay. Here's the thing about worrying about somebody stealing your property. Okay. Somebody who needs to steal your property will never have more than one good idea in their life, and it's one that's stolen. Okay?
That's right.
If your ideas are good enough to get stolen and actually become something, your argument will draw attention to your other work, and your other ideas would come to light. So it's not. So if somebody stole my comic, and a big publisher was basically plagiarizing me, and I made
they will.
But the thing is if they did that, and I made the stink, and I said, yeah, look at this thing that I made back in 2001, and they copied it. Now people are looking at me. Now people look at all of my old work. They boosted me by stealing my work. And
true.
The other side of that is, and this is going to sound absolutely horrible, but do you feel like you could win against Disney in court?
Nope.
No, you won't. I'm sorry, you won't.
So if Marvel steals your idea, the best recourse you have over the copyright, the best recourse you have is being public about, no. See, I'm the creator. Look, here's all my original work. This was me. And now you can draw attention to your
right.
work.
You put that on conceptart.org. You put that on DeviantArt. Everything. It's time stamped. Especially, people are gonna shit over that. They're gonna love you.
Yeah.
But you know what? Make it easier.
Not too many people that have good ideas only have one in their life.
Yeah.
So that means if you had a really good idea that got stolen by Marvel and they went with it, and then it comes out that it's stolen from you by Marvel and you're making a big deal, people are looking at you, then if you had that big idea, chances are you've got a second or third big idea sitting in there somewhere.
I do.
You just got to find it.
that's why I create. That's why I create multiple characters. Like just I create so many characters like every day. Like just to like even if I don't use them, I have just for a backup plan. Like okay, just in case some shit does go left. Like whatever. But Adam, I think, man, thank you for this advice, man. Because now I know, like, damn, I'm leave. Hey, man, I gotta get these things published. But you know, if it's man, thank you, man, dude. This is Adam, man. I mean, you skipped much earlier. Yeah, sorry about that.
I used to worry about the copyright of my stuff.
Yeah.
I used to worry about it. And a lot of young creators do.
Yeah.
And I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I just don't. What are you gonna do? You're gonna steal my idea? Good for you. You steal my idea, make it the next biggest thing, and you know what? You got nothing to follow up with.
But you know what? I noticed that Adam, I agree 100% with you because I feel like people who steal somebody else's idea. First of all, that was not their idea. That was your idea. So they're gonna mess it up. They're gonna be making shit anyway. Like they got what's the guy named? This is the guy who did Halloween. Is it the guy? I think
John Carpenter. Yeah.
John Carpenter. He sold it, and he said what, and they fucked it up with Halloween and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, like they could take like it's like a Hollywood studio can say, yeah, I'm gonna buy Friday the 13th for whoever created Friday the 13th. I'm gonna buy it, and the guy decides to sell it, and they turn to shit later on after that. Like,
yeah, it did.
so it's like that's what I'm saying. Like now I'm not made. You made me look at shit way different now, man. This probably was the most insightful episode I've been on, man. This is insightful.
Well, hey, we're here to help, and we'll give you more if you want to hear us. That's
man.
I'd be happy to come back again.
Yeah, we're gonna have. I'm definitely. I mean, this is good. For me, Adam, man, Adam, and you go add me on Google Plus, man. Follow me on Google Plus because I'm gonna have to. So I'm gonna add you to the invite list next time.
Yeah, Adam's really cool.
Adam, you a real cool dude, man. Because I see you on the channel all the time. Like Adam's a real cool dude. Like man, I need to add you more often.
I normally just sit and listen.
Yeah.
I normally just sit and listen while I do other stuff. I had to walk away from my drafting table in order to not have my feedback problem.
Yeah. But it was episode 4 of Source Material, people. It was a phenomenal episode.